The following is an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Now, from Yankee Stadium, New York, it's the American League Division Series with the Yankees and their captain Derek Jeter with an urgent need to win Game 2 up against Torrey Hunter and the underdog Twins, who will take command of this series with a win tonight. The nerves have settled. Opening statements have been made. Now, it is time to respond or reload.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, oh Lord.
It wasn't about comparative payrolls or even pinstripe mystique. It was about mowing them down when it counted, and a defense that had the Yanks seeing double. Johan Santana and the mistake-free Twins shut out New York. But in a town where deja vu has so often happened all over again, there's no counting this crew out. The Twins took Game 1 a year ago, and the Yankees came back to win. Last night, the small-town team took one game in the big city, but you need 3 of 5 to stay alive. Welcome to the American League Division Series presented by Budweiser. Tonight, the Twins and the Yankees, Game 2 at Yankee Stadium, New York, New York. In an atmosphere where anything but winning the World Series is considered a failure, the Yankees are in a virtual must-win situation tonight. It's the second game of a best-of-5 series, and the Twins already leading 1-0. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Gary Miller, and welcome to Game 2 of the American League Division Series. And here are the Yankees, Joe, and again, they are trailing just as they were last year. But last night against Johan Santana, he was not as dominant as he normally is, and yet the Twins still shut out the Yankees in Game 1.
Well, I think the Yankees, this game is very important to both teams. Secondly, I think the Twins have to win this ball game. Look at it this way. If they go back to Minnesota 1-1 and the Yankees split there, they have to come back here for Game 5 in Yankee Stadium. That doesn't bode well for the visiting team. So I think it's imperative that Brad Radke keeps the Yankee power hitters in the ballpark tonight and lets his defense work its magic as it did last night.
All right, so Radke going for the Twins. And the Yankees, well, they've been behind 1-0 before and always had Andy Pettitte ready to go. 9 straight years in the division series, Andy Pettitte went in Game 2, but he's gone. John Lieber goes tonight. Lieber won 14 games this year. He was 11-3 at home, but it is his first postseason game.
Well, Pettitte was a security blanket for the Yankees. They always knew what they had in Game 2. They do not know what they have today. John Lieber pitched well down the stretch, but he has never been in this situation before. A lot of pressure riding on his shoulders tonight.
All right, so Lieber gets the start for the Yankees. He's a strike-throwing machine, and so is Radke. So that's the kind of a matchup we've got, and the Yankees need this win going to Minnesota. But as Joe said, the Twins need it badly as well. Big ball game. We're moments away from getting started. First pitch coming up.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
We're in the big city, the Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. We're awaiting the arrival of the Yankees on the field here. The big crowd is still gathering, and the electricity is already in the air. The Twins won last night, and Jock Jones, who arrived in town, hit a home run against Mike Messina. A very big run in that ball game. He played an outstanding game, but also playing with a heavy heart. And let's go down to Gary Miller for more on that.
John, Yankee Stadium is a place where Babe Ruth became famous for hitting home runs for kids who were sick in the hospital. As you mentioned, Jock Jones hit his first postseason home run last night, the biggest home run of his career. It was in the 6th inning. He started off poorly. His dad died last Thursday back in Sacramento of cancer at the age of just 52. But after striking out and hitting into a double play, this 6th inning home run off Mike Messina made it the 2-0 score that they eventually won by. Here's Jock's thoughts about his father.
It was fun to finally get on the field and get with my teammates again, unwind a little bit. It's been tough the last couple of days. Wanted to be there for those guys, and I mean, everybody said I was going to do something nice last night, something special, and I said, yeah, we'll see. This guy owns me. We'll see. So it was kind of a relief to finally do something good for our team, and you know, and I know my father was watching over me.
His teammate Michael Gadire said that's a moment he'll never forget. He'll fly back with the team to Minneapolis tonight, then he'll go for the memorial service on Thursday back in California, be back Friday in Minnesota for Game 3. His mom, Linda Falk, is in the stands tonight, and he talks to him every night, guys.
All right, Gary, and Jack Jones, obviously a very touching moment for him, and an emotional moment against the pitcher. He was only 2 for 22 lifetime against Messina before last night. Shannon Stewart in left, Jack Jones hitting second and right. Torrey Hunter in center field. He had a great night with the glove last night. Justin Morneau, a slugger at first base. Corey Koski, another left-handed hitter with power at third base. The designated hitter Kubel, who is a young guy but also with power, getting his first postseason experience. Christian Guzman, the switch hitting shortstop. Michael Kadire at second hitting 8th, and Henry Blanco, the veteran catcher, is batting 9th. And on the mound for the Yankees, the 34-year-old right-hander from Council Bluffs, Iowa, John Lieber.
Well, John, if you're the Yankees, you have to be satisfied that Lieber's out there. He went 7-1 over his last 10 regular season starts, and he does throw strikes. I think the key to the whole thing is throwing strikes. 18 walks in 176 innings. That tells you something about his strike throwing ability. Throws a fastball which sinks. He throws a slider and a changeup, and he will mix in a lot of changeups against the left-handed hitters.
And he throws strikes. He averaged a little bit less than 1 walk for every 9 innings pitched during the season. And he's the only reason that Brad Radke, his opponent tonight on the mound, did not have the best control record. These are the top 2 control pitchers in the American League. So here is Lieber, and you said, Joe, since August the 8th, 7 wins, 1 loss in his last 10 starts. In that same time period, the rest of the Yankee starters were 11-17, so he was really the Yankees stopper down the stretch. And he throws a called strike to Shannon Stewart. We are underway, Game 2 from Yankee Stadium. Shannon Stewart, 2 for 4 last night with an RBI. And there's one away, Gary Sheffield in right center.
And let's take a look at the defense for the Yankees. And everyone knows that Alex Rodriguez moved from short to third. And his manager, Joe Torre, says he has played Gold Glove quality third base as he did at shortstop. He won the 2 Gold Gloves as a shortstop, of course, his first year over at third base.
There's A-Rod at third. Here is Jack Jones. He shows bunt and takes inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
One more point about the Yankee defense. This is a good defense. It's not a great defense, but it's a very good defense.
Jack Jones, 24 homers during the regular season. That ball is grounded into right field. A base hit for Jack Jones, the first hit of the game.
Well, he gets the fastball inside, and he just pulls it in the hole between first and second. They were shading him around pretty much straight away. They weren't playing him to pull, and he got a fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Jack Jones has some speed, but while he stole 13 bases this year, he also got thrown out trying to steal 10 times. So here's Torrey Hunter. Hunter, 23 homers, 81 RBIs. Down the third base side. A-Rod to second, just in time to get Jack Jones. The throw taken by Miguel Cairo.
And a smart play by Cairo not to try to do too much on that ground ball. Make sure 1, as Alex Rodriguez did, and just take the 1 out at second base.
So Torrey Hunter easily safe at first base. Hunter also runs well. He led the Twins this year with 21 steals. 2 down Justin Morneau, the young slugger. And talking to Ron Gardner, they're excited about him. He rips one down the right field line. That's going to go into the corner. Sheffield digs it out. He stumbles. And now Hunter's going to be waved home. The relay by Cairo. And it's high. He scores. The throw to third. And Morneau is out. Sheffield stumbled. And that extra second or two before he righted himself gave Torrey Hunter all the time he needed to score ahead of that high throw by Cairo. So the Twins jump ahead 1-0. Radke to take the hill. The Yankees coming up. Twins won. The Yankees coming up now here at Yankee Stadium. Game 2 of the American League Division Series. And the Yankees batting order now is turned in by manager Joe Torre. And it once again finds Derek Jeter leading off at shortstop. Alex Rodriguez in the number 2 spot where he's been ever since Labor Day. A-Rod 2 for 4 last night. Gary Sheffield in right field, an MVP candidate for the Yankees this year. Hideki Matsui had a big year and 2 hits last night. The Yankees had 9 hits in the game last evening. Bernie Williams in center field hitting 5th. Jorge Posada, the powerful catcher, hitting 6th. Ruben Sierra almost had a home run last night. The DH. John Olerud, the veteran, at first base, and Miguel Cairo at second base, batting 9th for New York, all up against the veteran right-hander Brad Radke.
Well, Radke's a guy like Lieber that throws strikes. He has been here before. Remember that. He has pitched game 5s even in the division series. So I don't think the pressure is going to bother him. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to change speeds. And he's going to allow his defense to work its magic as it did last night for Johan Santana. And the real key is just to keep the Yankees in the ballpark. I think the Yankees have to hit home runs in order to beat the Twins in this ball game tonight.
And that was their weapon of the year. This Yankee team ended up being the most prolific home run hitting team in Yankees history. 242 home runs. They just did beat the record of the fabled 1961 Mantle and Maris Yankees. Jeter, first ball swinging, fouls one away.
And that was interesting, John, because Lieber threw 3 pitches in a row that were swung at in the last inning, top of the inning, and all 3 of them were put in play. Torrey Hunter, Koski, and of course Jock Jones. So all of these hitters, I think, are going to be swinging because they know that both of these pitchers throw strikes, and Jeter starts off by swinging at the first pitch against Radke.
1 strike to count, and that's too far in.
I said Koski, I meant Morneau, of course, who made the 3rd out at third base.
6 pitches thrown by Lieber in the inning, and there were 2 hits and a run scored. Jeter, that's hit deep into center field. Back is Hunter, still going back. He just turns and looks, hits into the black seats. A monster home run. Not many go into the black painted bleachers in straightaway center. It's tied up on Jeter's leadoff home run.
Well, Jeter seems to do whatever is necessary for this team to win in postseason play. I mean, he is a big-time performer on this stage. He swung at the first pitch fastball. Now, that's Radke centering one for him. I mean, that ball's in the middle of the plate, just below the belt, right where you would put it on a tee. And he hit it like it was on a tee.
They want Jeter to come out and take a bow. Just like yesterday in St. Louis, here he comes. And that changeup is in there for a called strike to Alex Rodriguez, who had 2 hits last night. And we want to welcome all of those who have been watching the Astros and the Atlanta Braves. Houston won game 1 there in Atlanta, 9-3. And if you've been watching the Twins and Yankees on ESPN2, please now switch over to ESPN. And ESPN2. There's the big ballpark in the Bronx, as Reggie Jackson used to call it. And the home run we just saw by Derek Jeter hit out into the seats where Reggie every once in a while would hit one. Not many guys have hit him into those seats out all the way in center field. In the original configuration of Yankee Stadium, You had to hit it into the bleachers to get a home run, and it was 461 feet to straightaway center into those bleachers. That figure may not be the same now since they remodeled Yankee Stadium, but it's still quite a shot.
Well, John, that was Jeter's 14th postseason home run in 101 games. So, I mean, he has been a big-time performer on this stage. And there's a fastball. It doesn't do much. It's supposed to be a sinker. It stayed pretty much in the middle of the plate, about belt high. And he doesn't get that one back. And they called him out, and you can see a lot of the players are reluctant to do that in the postseason.
That's a foul ball. 2-2 the count. So the Yankees, who were shut out last night and were shut out in Game 6, the final game of last year's World Series, finally score a postseason run. It had been a while.
But again, they do it with the home run, which is, as I said, I think going to have to be the key for Radke. He's going to have to keep them in the ballpark, and if the Yankees are going to win, they're going to have to hit some home runs.
That's a bloop, but there is Kadire in shallow right. One away. The Twins jumped ahead in the top of the first inning. Jack Jones with one out hit a single. He was forced out by Hunter. Then Justin Morneau, the cleanup hitter, hit this ball down the right field line. And Sheffield stumbled a bit, relayed it to Cairo, and his throw home was a little high and a little bit late. And the run scored, although Morneau was thrown out trying to go to third.
Well, excellent play there by Posada behind the plate to go up and then come down immediately and throw a strike to third to get Morneau for the third out.
So with one out, Gary Sheffield. He hammers one deep and foul down the left field line into the upper deck.
The ball in the first inning that bounced away from Sheffield, the ball actually took a very erratic hop off the bottom of the fence. He thought it was going to hit the covering, but it hit the bottom, which is concrete, and it shot back, and that's why he was not able to get it back in as quickly.
He hammers this one, a liner that hits the facing of the upper deck.
There's no doubt in your mind what he's trying to do. I mean, Gary Sheffield never gets cheated. I mean, he swings hard every time he swings the bat.
He played almost all year with a bad shoulder. He may need some surgery, but nonetheless, he's got a shot to win the MVP award in the American League. Over at third base, Corey Koski, and that is out number 2. So Sheffield retired.
And let's take a look at this great team defense that the Twins throw at you. I mean, they do a great job, and especially in the outfield with Hunter, Jones, and Stewart. They run down everything. And Hunter made 2 spectacular plays last night. One leaping over the wall to take a possible home run away from Alex Rodriguez, and he also threw Posada out at the plate, which turned into a double play.
I heard they call Torrey Hunter Spider-Man in Minneapolis and St. Paul because he's just like Spider-Man the way he can move out there without even throwing those spider webs out. Hideki Matsui, Godzilla, when he was in Japan, that was his nickname. The big home run hitter from the Tokyo Yomiuri Giants, and he had a lot of home runs here for the New York Yankees. 31 homers in his second year in New York, 108 batted in. And that changeup just off the outside. 3-0 the count.
Well, he has been a very fundamentally sound and consistent player for the Yankees since he has been here. Of course, he got better this year in the power department, but he still drove in a lot of runs last year as well.
And he draws a walk here against Radke. So that keeps the inning going. And now here is Bernie Williams.
I think what you'll see from Radke is he attempts to keep them from hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He got 2-0 on Matsui there. He threw him a changeup, you know, which is uncharacteristic of Radke because he will usually throw the sinker away and try to get the ground ball. But because he was left-handed, I think he was trying to make sure he didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Bernie Williams. Bernie, a 1-for-4 night last night. Fouls one. And it is 0-1. By the way, Derek Jeter, we're told, is the 20th player to hit a home run into the black seats out there in the remodeled version of Yankee Stadium. He's only the third ever to do it in the postseason. You know who the first one was?
No.
Mr. October.
Oh.
Reggie Jackson.
I know he did it. I didn't know whether he was first, third, or whatever.
Well, he was the first one.
20, you're saying.
It was the third home run he hit that night.
Yeah, you're saying there have been 20.
20 players have hit the ball into the black section of the remodeled Yankee Stadium.
Now, if you'd have said that was only the second or third ball going there, I'd be excited. But 20, that's a lot.
It's been 29 seasons.
That's still a lot.
It's less than one a year.
20 is a lot.
That changeup misses. 2 balls and a strike to Bernie Williams. Jay Buhner hit one out into those seats in the postseason 3 years ago when with Seattle. But Derek Jeter, it may be the first time he's ever done it. I wouldn't be surprised based on what I just saw, Joe. I think Jeter probably hit 45 home runs next year. Bernie Williams with a count of 2-1. That changeup is ripped down the right field line. And let's see if Matsui can come home. Having to go in after Jack Jones, and they're going to hold him up at third base. Luis Sojo, the third base coach, and he saw that Jones was able to get it out of there cleanly and hit Kadire, the relay man. He held him up at third.
Unlike the ball that was hit by Morneau, this one hits the padding, and it bounces correctly right back to Jones. Now watch, this ball will bounce up against the fence. Jones will be able to gauge where it's going to come from, whereas the other ball, when it bounces away from Sheffield, is shot back towards him, and he was just lucky enough to knock it down. They handle it cleanly, and that's one of the traits of the Twins. They make all the plays, and they make them correctly.
So Bernie Williams with the double. Now the Twins have more team speed than do the Yankees. That's another part of it. I mean, Torrey Hunter has excellent speed, and he was able to take advantage of the fact that Sheffield didn't come up with it right away. Now Jorge Posada. The Yankees won, Twins won. Posada, first ball swinging, pops it up, and Kadire, and that's the inning. So the Yankees strand 2. Last night they had 12 base runners and never scored. But Derek Jeter puts them on the board here with a spectacular home run. 1-1 after 1. Yanks 1, Twins 1 as we start the second inning now from Yankee Stadium. And here is Corey Koski, the powerful left-handed hitting third baseman of the Twins, to lead off. Koski 1 for 3 last night. John Lieber on the mound for the Yankees, and a sinker down and away for ball 1. Now, a lot of times these guys, when they throw so many strikes, as do both Lieber and Radke tonight, starting pitchers, they give up a lot of home runs.
Well, I think you're going to see them attack the first strike.
Fastball away, 2-0.
You see Lieber trying to hit the corner there instead of just throwing a strike first pitch, trying to get a hit. You know, the great thing if you're the Yankee fan is that they scored a run in the top half. The bad thing is they continue to struggle with runners in scoring position. They continue to get guys in scoring position, but they're not hitting the singles to drive them in. They had opportunities last night, and they were not able to capitalize on them. So if you're the Yankees, you say, yeah, we got a home run, which is what we have to do to win, but you also want to drive in some runners when they're out there in position.
A changeup off the outside missing. 3-1 the count to Corey Koski. Well, John Lieber gave up 20 homers this year in 176 and 2/3 innings, and that's not too bad, especially when you consider how many strikes he was throwing out there. About 1 home run every 9 innings pitched. Radke was even a little bit better than that. Just off the outside, ball 4. So Koski leads off the second inning with a walk, and Lieber's already above average. This is the American League Division Series, Game 2. The Twins and the Yankees here. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Gary Miller also with us. The Yankees down 1-0. Derek Jeter with a spectacular home run, a booming, a Ruthian Jacksonian clout. A Mickey Mantle-like majestic tape measure shot over the wall in center field, and I mean the wall, not just the fence that aligns the field, but I mean the bleacher wall into the black seats out there. Only the 20th guy. Is that incredible, Joe? Can you imagine that? Only 20 guys in 29 seasons. So you'd be impressed if he was like the second guy.
Yeah, a third or fourth even. I'll even give you 5, but 20, you can't even name them all. If you have to go to the papers to name them off, then there's a problem.
1-1 the count to Kubel.
The one thing that Ron Gardenhire said is he thinks this guy's going to be a really big-time hitter. He's got a short swing, and that's the reason he's put him in there. He had a good game against Lieber when they were here toward the end of the season.
Jason Kubel, born in South Dakota, who fouls one off the fists there from Lieber. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Been in the Twins farm system since the 2000 season. Grew up in Southern California, although he was born in South Dakota. And this year, started the year in Double-A ball, hit .377 in 37 games, hit .343 in Triple-A, and then hit .300 in 60 at-bats in the big leagues.
Well, I can see why they're excited about him as a big-time player. He just thinks that he's going to really be a good hitter. He also thinks Morneau is going to be a big-time home run hitter. So the Twins have a lot of young players that they're adding to this core group.
There's a curveball. It's down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kubel is only 22 years old. He has a look at Al Newman, the third base coach, before standing back in. Koski, the runner at first. Koski got a little speed. There's Albert D. Newman. He doesn't look worried. 2-2 the count. Struck him out.
Good high fastball. What Lieber does, he gets you looking for the ball to sink, and then he throws you the riding fastball. That one was up. And Kubel swung right through it. There's a high fastball, and he can't catch up with it. See, that's not a sink or rotation right there.
Now John Lieber to Christian Guzman. Guzman, switch hitter. A base hit to right field, right through the hole. Koski digs to second. He'll hold there as Sheffield comes up with it. And the Twins have their 3rd hit already. So there's been a lot of action early on in this game. The batter will be Michael Kadire. Guzman right away gets a base hit.
Guzman, look at him, turns his hands over. He tries to take advantage of the hole on the right side, and he does a great job. You have the first baseman holding the runner on, the second baseman playing up the middle for the double play. There's a big hole on the right side, and a lot of left-handed hitters try to take advantage of that, and Guzman does so there.
So 2 men on, 1 man out. Now the Twins looking for the clutch hit. Here's Michael Kadire. He's been playing second base with the injury to Luis Rivas, their regular second baseman. His elbow's given him a lot of trouble. And the count is 0-1 as he chased that slider and did not get it. There's Ron Gardenhire, the Twins manager.
And he was very loose before the game today, John. I mean, I guess you'd have to be loose. You've already won 1 game in Yankee Stadium.
A bloop. That's going to fall. Base hit. Right center field. Coming around third. Koski, he scores. Here's the throw to third. Guzman tested Gary Sheffield and won.
Well, Gary Sheffield threw a strike. It's just the speed of Guzman got him in under the tag of Rodriguez.
So Kadire comes through in the clutch. 2-1 Twins.
Well, he jams him with a fastball that sails in, but he flares it into right center field. Sheffield comes up, fires a strike all the way in the air. The ball gets there, but he tags him on the knee, and it looked like his knee may have been in. Yeah, it looks like he may have been safe from that angle.
Listen, the umpire called him safe. I'm going with safe.
Okay. I may disagree every once in a while with a call.
I thought he looked safe.
Yeah, he did look safe.
I mean, it's an excellent throw by Sheffield.
Right on the money.
Now the Twins have a chance to do some real damage here. The batter, Henry Blanco, the catcher. And there's the Twins again, Joe, taking extra bases. That's twice they've taken an extra base in this game already.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Gardenhire try to get in a situation where he can squeeze here.
Yeah, Blanco not known for his hitting. He's an excellent defensive catcher. He ended up playing a lot for the Twins this year after the injuries cut down Joe Mauer, their young catcher. 1 strike to count to Blanco. The infield is backed up. Olerud on the bag at first with Kadire. Ooh, a low slider, and it's 0-2.
He swung and missed several sliders last night. That's why I thought maybe they might try a squeeze, because he was having a lot of problems with the breaking ball last night.
Blanco hit only .206. He did have 10 home runs, 37 batted in. Last night, he was 0 for 2. And he gets the bat on that one. Sheffield, a long run, makes the catch. Here comes Guzman. Here comes the throw. It's offline, and he scores.
And that's what speed will do for you.
It was very shallow right, but he ends up scoring easily without even a tag attempt.
Well, the Sheffield was running in, and he was running toward the foul line. He had to try to stop, set himself, and make an accurate throw. He wasn't able to do that, but again, that's what the speed of the Twins will do. See, that's a long run for Sheffield. He can't get set. His momentum's still carrying him toward the stand, so his throw is going to definitely be on that side because his momentum was going that way. Very difficult to throw strikes when you're moving toward the stands. But again, the speed of Guzman, he's in easily.
And the shape of Yankee Stadium, as leadoff man Shannon Stewart swings and misses. Strike one. Stewart flied out his first time. The shape of Yankee Stadium worked against him there. If he'd had more room, which he would in most ballparks, he might have caught that one, spun around and made the throw, but he didn't have much room to maneuver. That's high and tight to Shannon Stewart. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Minnesota Twins already up 3-1 in this game. This is the game that Andy Pettitte has pitched, now past tense, had pitched 9 times for the Yankees. Game 2 of the division series, 9 consecutive years. 1 ball, 1 strike. That over to Jeter. To Cairo for the force out on Kadire, and that's the inning. But the Twins coming right after the Yankees, leading 3-1. Ruben Sierra coming up. Yankee Stadium in New York, and the Minnesota Twins leading 1-0 and leading game 2 3-1 as we go to the last half of the 2nd inning. And for John Lieber, Joe, again his first postseason game, so far nothing that has happened would necessarily sort of ease him into this one. The Twins have been coming after him.
Well, the Twins, they've used their speed to score the run. They put pressure on the Yankees defensively, and they've done what they do best. When we talked to Joe Torre, he said the Twins remind him of the California Angels with their aggressiveness on the bases and their speed, but the Angels have a little more power.
The Angels have Vladimir Guerrero. Here is Ruben Sierra. That's hit softly. Kadire gonna have to hurry just in time. Crowd didn't think so. 1 down. Tonight after our game will be game 2 of the Red Sox and Angels. You mentioned the Angels, Joe. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN. The Red Sox leading 1-0, and Pedro Martinez will try and put them ahead 2-0, but he's up against Bartolo Colon, the 18-game winner, going for the Angels. So the Angels in the same spot as the Yankees. They need a win because they're leaving Southern California for Fenway Park after the game. Rick Sutcliffe, Tony Gwynn, Kyle Peterson, and Chris Berman will be there to bring it all to you after our ball game on ESPN. Here's John Olerud. If you followed the Seattle Mariners all year, you might be saying, wait a minute, I thought he retired. Well, the Yankees had a need when Jason Giambi had the ailments that shut him down. Tony Clark ended up having to play almost every day, and they coaxed John Olerud out of retirement. Along the left field line, there's a long run for Stewart. Just enough room, and that is out number 2. Olerud quickly gone.
One of the things you notice in this lineup, John, is, you know, with right-handed pitchers, a lot of times Kenny Lofton would DH or be in this lineup. I think Joe Torre decided the makeup of this team says we have to hit with power. We have to have extra base hits. We have to drive the ball out of the ballpark. So he's going with his power lineup, because if you put a guy like Lofton in, he's basically the only one with speed that's going to do anything. So he's playing a different game. But with this lineup, which is the one that he felt like won the most games for him this year, he's going with the power. And that's why I say they're going to have to drive the ball. They don't have to hit all home runs. We're going to have extra base hits and drive the ball in order to beat the Twins tonight.
This is Miguel Cairo. And he's about the only guy in the normal Yankee lineup who is not a big home run threat.
Right. And I think the other thing you have to notice is that throughout the year, the Yankees have not hit well with runners in scoring position. Singles, that is.
Christian Guzman throws out Cairo. And Radke with a 7-pitch inning. All strikes, retiring the side in order. Jock Jones, then Torrey Hunter coming up with the Twins.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And in part by Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Back here in New York, I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Game 2 of the American League Division Series, and the Yankees have fallen behind here 3-1 as we go to the third, providing the beautiful views of New York and Yankee Stadium. From up above is the AmeriQuest airship Liberty, captained by Scott Daniker and Corky Belanger Jr. Liberty is the airship of AmeriQuest Mortgage Company, the official mortgage company of Major League Baseball. And we're always extremely happy to have them with us, because we're into pretty pictures. Here's Jock Jones. His single in the first inning started a rally for the Twins as the changeup is too low from Lieber. 2-0 the count. Torrey Hunter and Justin Morneau coming up next. The Twins' power is up here. That one right to the second baseman, Miguel Cairo. One away.
John, the Twins are a very close-knit group of players. You know, Brad Radke said about Jock Jones and his troubles, he said, we're going to be looking out for him emotionally. He said, that's what this team is all about. We're there for him. It's not just about baseball. We know he's hurting, and we're going to do everything we can to support him. So that's a good teammate for you.
Torrey Hunter runs up as if to bunt. And did he bunt at it? No. An appeal was made to Brian Gorman, the first base umpire, and he said no. That's a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Hunter. Hunter scored the first inning run, scoring from first base after he hit into a force play. He then scored from first on Justin Morneau's double. His slider makes it a ball and a strike. Well, you know, they've always been a very close-knit group of players. Most of them came up through the minor leagues together, got to the big leagues at the same time. And guys who have left this ball club and gone elsewhere still call the other members of the Twins all the time. Guys like Eddie Guardado, now at Seattle. A.J. Pierzynski went to the Giants. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that slider down and away. It's not only a club that does not have a big payroll, but you'd be hard-pressed to say they have any big stars at this point. I mean, nobody in this ball club had more than 81 RBIs. And Torrey Hunter is down.
And that was Torrey Hunter. They're just not a power ball club, even though the Metrodome allows you to hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark. They're a team that's built on speed, defense, and pitching, and it works for them.
And that pitching this year was especially potent. Radke had one of his best years, although the Twins did not score many runs on his behalf. Justin Morneau hits a foul ball, but Johan Santana, who pitched here last night, was one of the best in the game. He really blossomed. We're looking at Justin Morneau, 6 feet 4 inches tall, born in British Columbia in Canada. Pops it up, and Jeter is going to take it. That's the inning. So the first quiet inning, a 9-pitch inning for Lieber. 3 up, 3 down. Top of the order, Jeter coming up. Here come the Yankees into the last half of the third inning from Yankee Stadium in New York. The Minnesota Twins leading 1-0 and leading this game 3-1. Back in Brad Radke. It looks like a young fan, maybe with the rally cap already going. The top of the order for the Yankees. And when this top of the order comes up, Yankee fans are already excited, feeling something's bound to happen. You got Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Gary Sheffield. And the fastball sinks low from Brad Radke. Jeter led off the game with a long home run into the black bleachers in center field.
John, we were talking about the Yankees leaving runners in scoring position, not hitting enough singles. Actually, from a batting average standpoint, if you subtract the home runs they hit, they're hitting 242 as a team with runners in scoring position. And I think that's great. They hit home runs, but you have to find another way to score, especially in close ball games. And there's Jeter's home run. I mean, I think he knew it was a home run as soon as he hit it well up onto the black tarp in center field.
One ball, one strike to Jeter. High and tight from Radke. 2-1. Derek Jeter, 14 home runs in his career in postseason play. But then again, he's had 397 at bats in the postseason. Now with Division Series, League Championship Series, and the World Series. Ooh, change up. 2-2 the count. But in these Division Series games, he started this series with a .368 batting average in Division Series play. And these are usually real tense games. I mean, if you don't win a Division Series outside of your own town, who even remembers you were in? I mean, these are pressure-packed games. 2-2 the count to Derek Jeter. Inside, full count now.
And on the one positive about a team that hits a lot of home runs is the fact that they can come back from any deficit. They're never out of a ball game, and the Yankees did that better than any other team in the major leagues coming from behind. And that's because you can get a guy on and hit a home run, you're right back in the ball game. So the power does work, especially when you're trailing.
3-2, and Jeter fouls one off his leg.
And a nice pitch there by Radke. What they try to do is keep the ball in tight on Jeter. The one he hit for the home run was a fastball middle of the plate away. But you see the target right inside. The ball runs in, and Jeter fouls it off his foot. But that's exactly where they try to keep the ball in tight on him, preferably down. If you get it up, he'll fight it off the other way and get something into right field. But that's the perfect spot to pitch him if you have an opportunity to do so. They're going back in there again.
Jeter hits this one left center, and Shannon Stewart.
No, he got jammed on that one. Another excellent pitch. He didn't get the barrel through on that one. But those are good pitches by Radke. But if he moves those balls 3 or 4 more inches out over the plate, Jeter's going to hit it hard someplace. Look at the target. See how it runs in. See how he pulls his arms in to try to get the barrel of the bat to the ball, and he just couldn't get it there.
So Jeter is now 1 for 2. 1 out, nobody on, and here is Alex Rodriguez, who popped up to second his first time. That's a fair ball. Off the railing. Shannon Stewart in to pick it up, and he'll hold A-Rod to a single. Most ballparks that's a double, but again, part of the peculiar aspect of this ballpark, that railing is just right behind third base, and that turned a possible double into a single.
Looked like that was a little slide piece, stayed pretty much on the inner half of the plate, and he just rips it past Koski at third, and you can see it clearly. It hits the fair chalk line as it goes over the bag, but it went over the bag anyway.
Now Sheffield, and here's the possible tying run. Sheffield grounded out to third his first time, and that one drops low. 1 ball to no strikes.
The one misconception about Sheffield, we know how hard he swings, but he does not chase a lot of pitches early in the count that are out of the strike zone.
Hideki Matsui, the cleanup hitter, on deck. 1 ball to no strikes, and that's yanked foul. Ball and a strike. Last night, a very frustrating night for the Yankees. They hit into 5 double plays. They had 2 hits in 15 at bats with runners on base, including no hits at all with runners in scoring position. They put 12 men on base in the game and never got any of them home. The ball and a strike to Sheffield. Down and in. By the way, Alex Rodriguez with his third hit of this series, and we asked Joe Torre about A-Rod last night, and he said he was real happy with A-Rod's approach. He had good swings, and he had excellent at-bats all the way through.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game, and he said basically he's trying to go right center, left center, and just react to the ball inside.
That ball is hammered. If it's fair, it's gone. Down the line. It is a home run.
John, the key to that at bat is did not chase any pitches early in the count. Got a 2-1 count. Radke had to come in, and he drills a line drive right down the left field line. That's why he has such great credentials for MVP in this league.
Man, that was a screamer. A shot right down the line.
And that's what the Yankees do. I mean, they're able to come back because they can do this. Hit the ball out of the ballpark, and Gary Sheffield just drills this. I mean, no doubt about it as soon as he hit it.
And Matsui fouls one back just at the moment that Sheffield came up out of the dugout to take a bow.
And see, the difference is, you know, even though Santana didn't have his great stuff last night, he was able to keep the Yankees in the ballpark. And as I said at the beginning, the Yankees will have to hit the ball out of the ballpark to win. And I think they will do just that if Radke makes any mistakes.
So it is 3-3. All the Yankees runs a result of home runs.
Well, they had pitched him inside. This pitch is away. He goes out and gets it and pulls it down the left field line. They had pitched him inside, and then he tried to go away with a fastball, and he just reached out and hooked it around the fair pole. Or the foul pole.
You can call it the fair pole.
No, I don't. It's a foul pole.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Base hit to right field. So Matsui with a solid single. That's 3 consecutive very hard hit base hits for the New York Yankees. And that will bring up Bernie Williams.
But I think the key again for the Yankees, for their confidence and for Joe Torre's satisfaction, you're still going to have to score some runs without hitting the ball out of the ballpark. You're going to have to show that you're a good hitter with runners in scoring position.
Bernie Williams hit a double his first time into the right field corner. Matsui, the runner at first, 1 out. 3 consecutive hits here for the Yankees. And Bernie takes a strike on the inside. Bernie, another veteran of so many postseason games for the Yankees. He's been here all through this run for the Yankees. 1996, they won the World Series. 95, they got to the postseason for the first time in many years. And Bernie was on all those ball clubs. That is right on the outside corner from Radke. Strike 2.
And that's Radke at his best. A little cut fastball on the inside corner. Now he throws a sinker on the outside corner, and he's quickly ahead of Bernie Williams 0-2. But because he's not a strikeout pitcher as such, now let's see what he can do to put Bernie away, or what he tries to do to finish him off.
Matsui with a short lead from first. 1 out. 1 hop to first. They get the out at second. Guzman back to first. 2. A double play. A visit from last night for the Yankees, but they get 2 on Sheffield's homer. It's tied at 3.
Pitchers with fewest walks per 9 innings. Curious to get Joe Morgan's perspective if that's why these hitters are being aggressive tonight, because they know the pitchers are around the plate.
Yeah, I think they are, Steve. I think you know they're going to throw strikes. You don't want to fall behind in the count so they can nibble at you. So I think you will see hitters being more aggressive. I thought the Twins were very aggressive in the first inning. They swung at every strike they could reach, and I think that's good, because that made Lieber change his approach. He walked the leadoff hitter in the second inning simply because he was trying to keep from throwing strikes in the middle of the plate.
Meanwhile, Lieber is having a hard time throwing a strike to Corey Koski, although he gets him here in a 2-0 count to hit the ground ball to second, and Cairo throws him out. Koski led off the second inning with a walk, and that started a 2-run rally. The only walk allowed in the game by Lieber so far.
And look at that. That's amazing. I mean, you know what's really amazing is Curt Schilling, because he is a power pitcher. I mean, and for a power pitcher not to walk guys. See, Lieber and Radke, neither of them are power pitchers, but Curt Schilling is. So that's a really telling statistic there in Curt Schilling's case. John, we were talking about the fact that the Yankees have to hit home runs, and I felt like, you know, they would tonight. But if you're a Yankee fan, the bad thing is those home runs have only tied the ball game.
Jason Kubel over the mound. Here's Jeter on the run, throws him out. Nice play by Jeter. So the young Kubel, 22 years old, in his first postseason game, is retired, out number 2. He's 0 for 2 in the game.
I read a comment from Derek Jeter. He said this is his best season so far. You know, the way he came back offensively, and he thinks he's played great defensively, and everyone agrees. So this could be his best season, even though statistically it may not show up that way.
Well, he's only made 13 errors, and shortstop is one of those positions where that's a high error position.
And the reason it's a high error position because you can't knock it down, pick them up, and throw them out like you can at third base and second base. You can pick it up and throw them out after you fumble it.
Is Christian Guzman. Guzman hit a single and scored a run his first time.
Shortstop, you have to catch the ball cleanly and then make an accurate throw. So that is why it's a more difficult position to play on the infield.
0-2 the count to Guzman. Now Olerud, Lieber covering, and just in time. 8 pitches for Lieber, and he seems to have found himself. He's retired 8 in a row. Posada coming up, 3-3. Twins 3, Yankees 3, last of the fourth. And when you think Yankee Stadium, you think of the famous facade of Yankee Stadium. It used to line the roof above the upper deck. Now it lines the upper reaches of the outfield barrier. But still synonymous with this historic ballpark. There's ball 1 to Jorge Posada. Changeup missing from Brad Radke. Posada popped up to second his first time. He'll be followed by Ruben Sierra and then John Olerud. Yankees have had home runs from Jeter and Sheffield for their 3 runs.
But if you're the Twins, you say they've hit 2 home runs. But guess what? The score is still tied. And again, the Yankees are going to have to find some other way to score. They definitely need to hit home runs because that's the way that's their makeup. But they're going to have to find another way to score some runs as well tonight.
Posada pops this one up. Corey Koski backpedaling in the shallow left field, and he's got it. And Posada is retired out number 1. Now let's go down to Gary Miller.
John, Joe Torre is trying to find just 3 functional pitchers in this series, while Ron Gardenhire is probably going to go with 3 if Santana and Radke can be available if there's games 4 and 5 to play. Kevin Brown will go in game 3, a bit of a surprise. Both he and El Duque Hernandez were added to the roster because they didn't know who would be healthy enough to pitch. We saw Kevin Brown pitch in Boston, couldn't get out of the first inning. He threw 5 innings without an earned run at Toronto, and that's what got him on the roster, and he will pitch on Friday.
All right, so somewhat of a surprise right there as Ruben Sierra grounds out to Kadire at second. 2 men down in the 4th inning. Kevin Brown went out and had a bullpen session earlier tonight, but when we asked Joe Torre about Brown before the game in terms of the aftermath of his outing the other day, he said everything was just fine. He pitched beautifully in that game, and he came back the next day. No ill effects, no aches and pains. He has had bullpen sessions. Everything is set to go, and then they a little while later announced that he was going to make that start as John Olerud rips one into the alleyway right center field. He's going to try for 2. Torrey Hunter with a throw in, but not in time. A double for Olerud. Sixth hit for the Yankees. They've had 2 home runs and 2 doubles amongst their 6 hits. But, you know, last year when the Yankees and Twins played, Twins won game 1. Yankees had Andy Pettitte ready for game 2. Then when they went to Minnesota, they had Roger Clemens. Then they had David Wells to put the Twins away.
Right. Obviously, they do not have that same combination this year. But I think they are a much better offensive ball club than they were then. When I say offense, I'm talking about in terms of scoring runs.
Now, Olerud breaks for third, but he's going to go back to the dugout and get his glove anyway because Cairo is thrown out by Christian Guzman. Are you kidding me? The inning's over already? This game's moving quickly. 3-3. All right, the wild card team.
Well, I don't think there's any surprise. Houston played well down the stretch. They were putting up big numbers offensively, and they're a very good hitting ball club. Plus, they had the Rocket on the mound today, so everything was perfect for them.
Yeah, and they go for the Rocket to Roy Oswalt, who was 20-10 this year, the only 20-game winner in the National League. So the Braves are facing a huge game tomorrow at Turner Field. Back through the middle, Michael Kadire has a base hit. And he is 2 for 2 now with an RBI. Henry Blanco coming up now, the 9th place hitter. 3-3 the score here. The Twins with 5 hits against John Lieber. The Astros leading Atlanta 1-0 in the National League Division Series by virtue of their win today. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers yesterday in a game Joe and I televised on ESPN. Cardinals up 1-0. They play game 2 tomorrow. And the Red Sox leading 1-0 over the Angels after a lopsided win yesterday. They play later tonight at Angel Stadium in a game that will be seen right here on ESPN. Kadire back to the bag. Blanco has 10 home runs this year, but you see his batting average, Joe, and much like a pitcher batting in the National League in this spot, he could well bunt. He squares and takes a strike. Blanco had 11 sacrifice bunts this year for the Twins.
Well, he did an excellent job his first time up, John, because he got quickly in the hole with 2 strikes, and I thought he might squeeze at that time, but he did a good job of getting the ball deep enough down the right field line to drive in the runner. So he did an excellent job of handling the bat in the first inning.
He is from Caracas, Venezuela. He shows bunt this time, pulls the bat back. That breaking ball misses. A ball and a strike.
And the reason he's bunting, John, is last night they tried to hit and run a couple of times with him, and he swung through the ball. A lot of breaking balls, and he could not handle them. And they're throwing him a lot of breaking balls. I think they've thrown him like 5 straight breaking balls now.
He was originally signed by the Dodgers, and he was a third baseman in the Dodgers minor league system. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's the bunt, but it's foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he was not going anywhere in the Dodgers organization, and they converted him to a catcher, and he said it was Mike Scioscia, now the Angels manager, who worked with him and helped him become a catcher. And he says he still stays in touch with Mike Scioscia, even though now they're adversaries. But and I was asking about that, so I said, you still stay in touch? He said, yeah. He said, you know, Mike Scioscia, he is a great man. So Henry Blanco with an unsolicited compliment there for the manager of the Angels. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swings away and fouls one. You mentioned his at bat there that got the sacrifice fly, got the run home in the second inning. It was a 2-strike count, and it was a pretty tough pitch, as you mentioned.
Well, what he did there again, he was going the other way with 2 strikes. Last night he was pulling off pitches, and I'm sure they discussed it before the game today. That was a slider away. That was a very difficult pitch to handle there, but he was going the other way with it and fought it off.
Blanco, 33 years old. That's a double play ball to Jeter. He steps in the bag 1 over to first. 2.
I have always liked to see the shortstop take control there. Do not flip the ball to second. I mean, you can drop the ball. A lot of things can go wrong. Take it yourself. Everything, your momentum, everything is going towards first base. Now watch, this is what I like, because he can make the runner get down. Now watch the runner. You have to get down quickly or else you're going to get hit. And that's a nice play by Jeter. I mean, it looks routine, but it is far more, it takes a lot more practice than it appears.
So the Yankees turn a double play. Now Shannon Stewart into right field. Sheffield. John Lieber's on a roll after A rugged first 2 innings. Another 8-pitch inning. Top of the order for the Yanks.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Brought to you by Campbell's Chunky Soup. With big chunks of meat and veggies, it fills you up right.
From Yankee Stadium, it is 3-3. The Yankees and the Twins. And from high above the ballpark, looking back into New York City, the AmeriQuest Airship Liberty, captained by Scott Danaker and Corky Belanger Jr. Liberty is the airship of the AmeriQuest Mortgage Company, the official mortgage company of Major League Baseball. Paul O'Neill threw out the ceremonial first pitch before the game tonight. He got a huge ovation from the fans here at Yankee Stadium. O'Neill, who just had so many big hits and big plays in so many big games for the Yankees.
Well, I think I think his biggest contribution was as a leader.
One hop from Jeter over to Koski. And Koski, he really took his time there, but he does throw out Jeter. So Jeter sends his first inning home run into the center field bleachers. And his flight out, now grounded out. He's 1 for 3 against Brad Radke.
Anytime I talk to Joe Torre about the teams of the past, when they won 4 out of 5, he always talks about the leadership that Paul O'Neill provided. He didn't talk about all the base hits or whatever. He said the leadership that he provided was just as important as the base hits he got.
Smile, Paul, you're on TV. That ball is hit by Alex Rodriguez out into Death Valley. Way back there. And that ball is gone. A home run. And the Yankees have gone ahead. The third home run of the night for the Yankees, and Alex Rodriguez has his first Yankees postseason home run.
And John, this is the Yankee team that I thought might show up today. This is a home run hitting machine. Let's take a look at Alex. See, Alex is going the other way, but the ball is inside and he reacts to it. Watch his momentum. He doesn't pull away. He's going back through the middle and left, right, center, as he told me before the game, but he's reacting to the ball inside. That pitch was inside. He reacted to it and hit it out of the ballpark.
That was out in left center to the left of that 399 sign. Here is Sheffield, broken back. And Koski and Guzman. It is Koski in front of Guzman.
And that was Alex Rodriguez's 4th postseason home run. Of course, he hit some with the Mariners before he went to Texas.
Yeah.
And there you see what the Yankees did. 242 home runs. That tells you what they are. That's their makeup. And if they're going to win, they're going to have to do what they do best, and that's hit the ball out of the ballpark. We saw him hit into a lot of double plays yesterday. We saw him thrown out trying to steal into double plays. That's what they do. But this ball club also hits the ball out of the ballpark, and they do it well.
Here is Matsui. He swings at the first pitch, a changeup, and misses. Each of the last 6 Yankee players hit the first pitch and put it in play. Matsui swings at the first pitch but misses. The Yankees lead 4-3. Well, Alex Rodriguez, as you mentioned, Joe, had those other home runs in the postseason with Seattle, but I think they're only counting the one here in New York that he hit tonight. Shallow center, and Torrey Hunter's got it. Alex Rodriguez with a long home run. That's no cheapie when you hit one out there in this ballpark. Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter coming up. 4-3 Yankees. ESPN's coverage of the American League Division Series presented by Budweiser. The Twins and the Yankees, game 2, with the Twins leading 1-0, and they were leading in this game 3-1, but that was in the 2nd inning. And since then, it's been all Yankees. John Lieber has retired the Twins in short order in each of the last 3 innings. And Gary Sheffield with a 2-run homer in the 3rd to tie it. Alex Rodriguez with a long home run in the 5th inning to put the Yankees ahead. Also, Jeter, of course, led off the game with a homer. They've hit 3 home runs. 1 strike to count to Jock Jones, and he chases that low slider. 0-2.
One of the things we were talking about before the game, and everyone was wondering about John Lieber. This is his first postseason start. Well, Joe Torre put everything in perspective as he usually does. He said playing in New York prepares you for the playoff because the intensity level is always there. And especially when you host teams like the Red Sox, you know, when they come in here in the A's, the postseason, you're already prepared for it just by being here in New York. So that was his take on whether Lieber would be able to handle the pressure of his first start in the playoffs.
Even a sellout crowd. That strike 3 call. The high fastball to the outside, and Jock Jones very unhappy with Mark Wegner's call on that one. One down. Let's see what
Let's take a
K-Zone
look.
says. Yeah.
K-Zone said it got the corner, and it wasn't even at the top of the strike zone. There's a little sinker. You can see it tailing away. I think that's what got Jones. He thought it was going to tail off the plate, and it did not.
Torrey Hunter has hit into a force play and struck out. So since that second inning, Lieber has been on top of his game, and he's got a 4-3 lead. There's a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Justin Morneau, the cleanup man, is on deck. Twins scoring 3 runs in the first 2 innings, and the running game, not stolen bases, just taking extra bases.
So I think that's one of the things that is a misconception about baseball. When you're talking about speed, you're not talking about just being able to steal bases. You're talking about being able to go from first to third, being able to score from first base on a double. All the things the Twins did in that first inning. That shows up. That's the way they play the game. And that's where speed is important, even though you're not stealing bases.
Torrey Hunter with a base hit out of the reach of Alex Rodriguez. And that's Torrey's first hit of this game. Torrey, who had 1 hit last night at 4 at-bats.
And you got to remember, John, over 162 games, the more times you go from first to third on a single with less than 2 outs, that gives you more opportunities to score. That's why I say speed is always important.
I'm John Miller. This is Joe Morgan, my Hall of Fame partner. Yeah, you're looking good tonight, by the way.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, this is big. This is the postseason.
An important part, too, because the second game kind of twists the fates of both teams tonight, I think.
So the Twins jumped out early using that running game, and the running game, taking the extra base, contributed to all 3 of their runs. And the Yankees, Joe said at the outset, the Yankees needed to hit some home runs. That was their big weapon. Jeter led off the game with a home run and kind of set the tone. Then Sheffield, a 2-run homer in the 3rd to tie it. Alex Rodriguez, a homer in the 5th. Both pitchers are strike-throwing machines. Lieber for the Yankees, Radke for the Twins. Lieber's only had 1 inning where he's thrown more than 10 pitches in this game. And we're in the 6th inning right now. There's Brad Radke, but he's been roughed up with the long ball tonight. 1 ball, no strikes to Justin Morneau. Now, yesterday, Joe, you mentioned as we watched the Cardinals play the Dodgers that any pitcher going through that Cardinal batting order, I mean, that lineup just going to wear you out.
Yeah.
And this Yankee batting order, they got a lot of big names, a lot of big sluggers in this lineup as well.
Yeah, they do it a different way, but they still accomplish their goal, and that's to score runs. I mean, the Cardinals are a more well-balanced offense in that they have a lot of 300 hitters in their lineup, and they will, you know, put the ball in play with runners in scoring position. These are kind of your Big Bang Theory Yankees, and they do what they do, and they hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, I, for one, I dig the long ball.
Oh, chicks dig the long ball. I know that.
That was the old commercial that baseball had going with Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux.
And that hasn't changed.
They were great pitchers for Atlanta at the time. They did the commercial. The idea was they started taking extra batting practice because
chicks
the
dig
women,
the long ball.
That's what they said. The chicks dig the long ball. 2-1 the count. Justin Morneau, 23 years old, and they think he's going to hit a lot of home runs for the Minnesota Twins. Twins fans are going to really dig Justin Morneau. He hit 41 home runs this year. 22 of them he hit for Rochester in AAA ball, and then he hit 19 more when he got to the Twins, and he hit 19 homers in about the same number of bats that he hit the 22 homers in the minor leagues.
Now, we showed a picture of Gardenhire there. I think that these two managers, Gardenhire for the Twins and Torrey for the Yankees, are perfect fits for their ball clubs and the personality of their ball clubs. Gardenhire is like one of the guys. He laughs, he jokes with the guys. I mean, and he is good for young players. Joe Torre is a veteran-type manager. He's very calm. He never gets upset. He's like the duck on the pond. I mean, he's all calm at all times, keeps his team calm.
Morneau lunges at that low slider. Jeter in shallow left. That is out number 2. 2 men down.
I remember when they hired Gardenhire, you know, I was wondering, well, is he the right guy for this young group of guys? And you know what? He was, definitely. And, I mean, all of them love him. They love playing for him, and he gets the most out of their ability. And Joe Torre, you know, he's a guy that's won championships. So you say, well, I'll build the team the way I want to. Well, he always adjusts to his personnel. Remember, the teams that won the championships before were more of a running team, hit and run, get deep in the count, so forth. This is a different type team. This is a power-hitting ball club, and he lets them both. He let them do their thing. He let the other team win the way they played the game, and he lets these guys win by doing it this way. He doesn't like it all the time when they strike out with a runner at third, but he knows that's the price you pay.
Here is Corey Koski. 0-1 the count. That foul ball out of play. Well, when we got into Ron Gardenhire's office before the game, he was on his laptop computer, and then he admitted to us that what he was actually doing, he wasn't going through stats or going through matchups. He said he was downloading music
for the ride home.
And he said that the music they play when Ruben Sierra of the Yankees comes to the plate, he thought last night, he says, wow, I like that music. Now they throw to first. Torrey Hunter is safe. He steals the bag. He got picked off, and they could not get him.
Well, what Lieber did wrong there, he should have just stepped off. You step off because you do not have to throw to first if you step off. But if you make a move that way on the rubber, you have to throw. So he'll take off. Now step off. You don't have to throw to first. He felt him going, so he threw to first base, but he really should have just stepped off. You step off there, turn and throw to second, you got him. He did know he was going, but he threw to first base instead.
That was shades of Hurricane Herb Washington.
Yeah, just take off and see what they do with you.
So back in 1974, the Oakland Athletics, Charlie Finley was the owner. They signed a world record holder in the 40-yard dash, Hurricane Herb Washington. Hunter started toward third, but that ball, I think, hit the umpire's leg. Quickly pounced on by Posada, and Hunter quickly went back to second. And now Posada out to, he might have gotten crossed up there. Well, I want to talk to Lieber about it.
Really, I think he's going out to talk to him about Torrey Hunter as well. He wants to make sure that Torrey is not having an effect on Lieber because he knows he made a mistake to let him get to second base. He wants to make sure we concentrate on the hitter. Let's make your pitches, and we'll get out of this.
So Torrey Hunter steals a bag, and last night he also stole a bag against Mike Messina. And not many guys steal bases when Messina's pitching. Torrey Hunter had quite a night all the way around, though. This was a big play, completing a double play, throwing out Posada at the plate. And then A-Rod said, hey, I knew if it stayed in the park, Torrey would get it. But maybe it stayed in the park because Torrey got it.
Now, look, I'll tell you what. The catch was great, but the best play was the throw. That is a very accurate one-hop throw, perfect to the plate, easy to handle, and that's why he was able to stop the runner from scoring.
Well, Torrey got himself in a scoring position here, in effect, by getting picked off. Koski trying to bring him home, and that's up and away. 2-1 the count. Hurricane Herb Washington was not a baseball player. He was a track star, and his best move ended up being just taking off. And invariably, pitchers would turn and throw to first, and then he'd beat the throw by the first baseman to second. But in the World Series, Mike Marshall, the veteran reliever, did just what you're talking about. Herb got himself picked off, and Marshall stepped off the slab and picked him off.
Yeah, that's what you have to learn to do as a pitcher. Step off. And you step off even if you don't think he's going all the time. You step off because you know that he's getting a big lead at first base. The veteran pitchers would do that. But there was a bigger variety of runners when Mike Marshall played, so it was general rule of thumb, make sure the guy doesn't take off while he's in the set position.
Fans on their feet here. 2 strikes to Koski with 2 down. Torrey Hunter in scoring position. A base hit could tie the game. Koski has walked and grounded out. He struck him out. Yanks maintain the lead 4-3. Last of the 6 coming up with Bernie Williams, then Posada. Yankees need a win in game 2, down 1-0 in this best of 5. We're in New York City, and the Twins trailing the Yankees 4-3. Last of the 6th inning now. Coming up after this game, game 2 in Anaheim. The Red Sox and the Angels, quite a matchup there. Pedro Martinez, Bartolo Colon, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and also right after this ball game on ESPN. Bernie Williams swinging and missing at that big curveball from Brad Radke, and that, of the last 9 Yankee hitters, is the 10th pitch swung at. In fact, the last 9 hitters have seen 10 pitches, swung at all of them, and 8 of them were put in play. Bernie Williams has had a double, and he's hit a double play. Now he takes a strike. It's 0-2. And look at that, a pitch not swung at. What's going on? What's wrong with Bernie? It'd been a while. They got a run in the 5th inning, and Radke threw 5 pitches in the inning. They got a double in the 4th inning, but no runs, and he threw 6 pitches in that inning. 0-2 the count. High and tight for a ball. 1-2 now to Bernie Williams. Last night, Bernie struck out into a double play. He was called out in the 1st inning. It's a big play.
Very big play.
And Joe Torre said, well, he'd fouled off with 3 pitches, and he thought, well, this is one of those Bernie at bats where he just putting the ball in play. He's swinging, and then after he put 3 balls back in the stands, foul, he started the runners, and then he took, and it was called strike 3. Alex Rodriguez got thrown out at 3rd to complete a double play. That was the first of the 5 double plays for the Yankees last night. Sounded like he broke his bat in that one. Guzman, and he was very smooth on that one.
I love watching Major League shortstops play that position. I mean, it's a thing of beauty just to watch him. And Guzman plays it differently than anyone else. He rarely uses the strength of his arm to throw a guy out. He'll throw on the move all the time. Watch, he'll come get the ball. He doesn't straighten up and fire. He will just come get the ball, and watch this. And he just throws on the run. And he's always accurate, and he has a strong arm. Even when he goes in the hole, he does the same thing. He doesn't really set himself like a lot of guys who try to use the strength of his arm. He just makes the play.
Jorge Posada off the fists. Shallow right. Jock Jones, 2 down. Another first pitch swing. Another first ball into play.
I don't think Posada has seen the 3 pitches, John.
He's popped up 3 straight times, and you may be right.
On 3 pitches. The first time up, he had runners at 1st and 2nd and 3rd. He popped up. Next time up, he popped up to shortstop. And that time, he popped up. He hit a fly ball to right field, all on the first 3 pitches.
It was a fly ball, but really a pop-up.
Yeah, pop-up.
2 down.
Yankee Stadium, that's a pop-up. Fly balls go over the wall.
Here's Ruben Sierra. Neither team has made an error in either game of this series yet. That changeup in there for a strike to Ruben. Now, when Ruben comes up, according to Ron Gardenhire, on the sound system, they play a song by Outkast called I Like the Way You Move. And Gardenhire said he heard that last night when Ruben came to the plate. He thought, wow, that's a cool song. And so he went out and looked for it and downloaded it on his computer today, which is what he was doing when we walked into his office.
But really, John, that's one of the reasons I say he's perfect for that young club. He shows some emotion. He has some energy that he brings all the time. That works with a young team, whereas Torrey has a veteran team, and he's calm. The veteran guys don't want to hear a lot of rah, rah, rah and all that kind of stuff. But I think the young guys need that. I think they need to be pushed because they're more emotional. You know, the veteran players on the Yankees are veterans. They know what they have to do. The young players are more emotional about the game.
Well, on this Yankee ball club, even to be one of the guys on the bench, be a pinch hitter or a platoon player, You have to have been in 6 or 7 All-Star
Right.
games.
Well, they're a veteran group that knows how to play the game.
Everybody has a resume
Right.
on this roster, it seems, especially if you're a hitter. 3-1 to Sierra. He's got a lot of power. And Radke respected it. Threw him a changeup and walks him.
I think that was one of your old, I'm going to pitch around you if you don't swing at this, because, you know, John Olerud is not nearly the power threat that Sierra is, especially when you're behind in the count. If you do not want Olerud to pull the ball, you just throw him a lot of hard stuff, and he'll stay out in the middle of the diamond.
Olerud used to be more of a power threat. He used to hit his 25 home runs or so every year. He used to win batting titles. He was an all-star, gold glover. And now he's a platoon player for the Yankees. He did hit 280 after they acquired him. And he played excellent defensive ball at first base. And he takes a strike on the outside. He hit only 9 home runs this year in 425 at-bats. Sierra hit 17 home runs in only 307 at-bats. So he is a real threat. You see, with the Mariners, just nothing was happening. It was depressing. The Mariners couldn't beat anybody. They couldn't hit. He wasn't hitting. And they cut him loose. That's a bloop foul off the left field line. And I guess he was out, what, a month or so. He retired, in effect. And then the Yankees came calling. And he used to play in New York for the Mets. And he enjoyed it. And he came back. And that was all only really because of the various ailments suffered by Jason Giambi, who is not on the postseason roster. At the first is Sierra.
Interesting, they were going to go inside 0-2. And if you're going inside, it has to be something hard, you know, meaning a fastball or a cut fastball. You're not going to throw him a changeup inside.
Olerud hit a double his last time. He is 1 for 2 in the game.
Now they're going away.
Sierra runs. Blanco so high and wide and off the glove of Guzman. A steal for Ruben Sierra.
I think they felt like Sierra might take off. That's why they switched to throwing a fastball away instead of going back inside. A fastball away gives you a better chance of throwing the runner out at second base.
It was like a semi-pitch out.
Yeah, and that's 0-2. You can waste a pitch like that.
Well, the Yankees with a little running action there. Ruben Sierra, who had 1 steal this year. And now he's got 1 in the postseason. And if Olerud can get a base hit, they could turn that into a run. Yankees already ahead 4-3 in the last of the 6th inning.
And if the Yankees are going to go far in the playoffs, they're going to have to start picking up some of these type of runs. You can't just depend on the home run all the way through to the World Series. So you're going to, if you're going to advance, you're going to have to start getting some 2-out base hits.
That breaking ball, he just got a piece of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Yankees are 0 for 2 in their at-bats with runners in scoring position tonight, so they haven't had many of these chances. But last night, 0 for 6 in those opportunities. So 0 for 8. They have not had 1 single hit with a runner at second or third or both in this series. And they are 4 for 19 with runners on base at all. Now 2-2.
And it's an old theory in baseball that you live by the home run, you can also die by the home run. And the Yankees at this point are kind of living by the home run. You're going to have to start getting some 2-out base hits. Maybe go the other way sometime with 2 strikes with a runner in second base.
Case in point, look what happened to the Cubs down the stretch.
Right. Good, very good case in point. Very good example.
They stopped hitting home runs. And they were having a hard time scoring any runs at all at the end there. But that was their game. The Cubs actually in the National League had a higher percentage of their runs as a direct result of homers than any other National League team. Yeah, they're calling the bullpen. That was Rick Anderson, the pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins.
Well, I think what you're seeing here is Radke pitched very carefully to Sierra after he got behind. After Sierra stole second, he's been very careful with Olerud. He knows that a right-hander, Miguel Cairo, is on deck.
3-2. Sierra at second. Olerud hits one foul. Back into the crowd, hit it sharply, but very much foul. And now Blanco's going to run the new baseball out to Radke, and they're going to conference about this one.
Well, what they were trying to do, he had thrown him a couple of pitches away. He was trying to finish him off with a fastball up and in. And he got it where he wanted, but Olerud was able to spoil it. I think Olerud surprised Blanco by being able to pull that ball foul. So he wants to go out and tell him maybe he's sitting on something inside and maybe we need to go away instead.
There is Grant Balfour up in the Minnesota bullpen, the right-hander. First bullpen activity of the night for the Twins. Balfour getting ready. 3-2 to Olerud. Radke tries it again. And a high foul off the left field line. Shannon Stewart gave chase, but back into the crowd.
And that was a smart pitch. He threw the fastball in the pitch before. He pulled it foul, so he tells him, well, he's sitting on something inside. Let's go away. So they go away, and he doesn't have a good swing at it. Now watch this. They're set up outside. They're going to go away this time, and you see the difference in the swing. And that's what he was telling them, that maybe he's sitting inside for something to pull. Let's try something away from him. And they did. And he made a very poor swing at it.
Olerud's having quite an at-bat here against Radke. This will be the 9th pitch of this battle with Sierra at second. Right back to Radke.
Smart pitching there.
So, on to the 7th inning. Kubel, the rookie, coming up. 4-3, the Yankees lead the Twins.
Johnny Damon could put the Angels in a hairy situation. He's a .375 career hitter against tonight's starter Bartolo Colon. That's at 10 Eastern time, 7 out on the West Coast.
Yeah, so that's about an hour and 15 minutes from now. Meanwhile, we're in the house that Ruth built. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It's the 7th inning. And the Yankees have been Ruthian tonight.
Right.
Babe didn't exactly invent the home run, but he certainly perfected it. And now here are the Yankees, and much like the Murderers Row Yankees of 1927, the Marison Mattel Yankees of 1961, this is a club built on power. Here's John Lieber. He is not a power pitcher, but he has been baffling the Twins ever since a rough first 2 innings. He gave up 3 runs in the first 2, but he has shut them down the last 4 innings, and they have had only 2 hits since the 2nd inning. He's only walked 1. That was Koski in the 2nd inning. He's not even been into a 3-ball count on anybody else. That ball is ripped hard. Olerud has it, and the put out for Lieber. And Jason Kubel, the rookie, is retired.
John, what I find interesting is, remember before the game, Joe Torre said he would not hesitate to use Flash Gordon in the 7th, Mariano Rivera in the 8th and 9th to secure this victory. And I think if he has a 2-run lead, he might do that. And there you see Gordon in the bullpen. I don't think he wants to do that with a 1-run lead, because if you bring Gordon in and he gives you a good 7th, and then something happens, they score 1 run, now you're stuck with Rivera being in the game. I think if there was a 2-run lead, he may have adhered to that strategy. And I think if he gets 2 runs, you may see something like that happen.
But at the moment, the ball hit back over Lieber and into center field by Christian Guzman. The 2nd hit of the game for Guzman. But I mean, right now, there's not much need, as Mel Stottlemyre's on the phone to the bullpen. I mean, Lieber has really shut down the Twins since the 2nd inning, and he came into this inning having thrown only 70 pitches.
Well, that's true, John, but it's also getting late, and they are starting this. This is the 3rd time through the order. You know, they've seen him enough, and I think that's what Joe Torre is looking at. In fact, you're going to see Stottlemyre go out to give Flash Gordon some more time. I don't think it's so much the pitch count or even the fact that they're hitting. I think the fact is they only have a 1-run lead, and they have seen him 3 times now. You run through this lineup 3 times, and you've been successful. How do you get through the 4th? And I think that's what he's looking at.
Well, especially in the postseason, Joe Torre with the great weapon Mariano Rivera, it's always been about getting a lead to Rivera.
Correct.
Now, he's always had guys in front of him that Torre's been able to count on. You know, one time it was Jeff Nelson or Mike Stanton. This year, Flash Gordon is the guy. And now they're into the late innings. It's the time for those guys, and Torre has a lead and he's trying to get that lead to them.
But I think, again, he'd be more comfortable with a 2-run lead to adhere to that situation, simply because if they make one mistake here and tie the game, now you're stuck, because you can't save, Mariano for that if he's already in the ball game. So I think that's what he's doing here. They're stalling. I wouldn't be surprised to see Flash Gordon come in here pretty quickly, though.
But if this were the 8th inning, then Gordon would come in to start the inning, even with a 1-run lead. So here is Kadire. He's had 2 hits and a run batted in, and that one breaks in there for a called strike. Kadire knocked in a run to put the Twins ahead in the 2nd inning with a single. He singled leading off in the 5th inning. So Kadire 2 for 2 in this game, and he's had 4 hits in 5 at-bats in this series. Michael Kadire. Guzman at first, 1 out. That slider taken low. Kadire was originally signed as a shortstop of the Twins, and then they moved him to third base, and then moved him to the outfield. We remember seeing him primarily as an outfielder in the past, and then last year they said, we want you to be able to play everywhere. So he started being tutored at second base by Al Newman, himself a former middle infielder, and he said Newman really helped him on that double play pivot for a second baseman, which is very different than the way a shortstop turns a double play. And obviously he was turning them pretty well last night. He turned 2 of the 3 ground ball double plays. That ball is hit softly. A-Rod has to make the play to first in time to get Kadire, so Guzman moves over to second. 2 down.
I don't think you're going to see Blanco hit in this situation. You're in the 7th inning. This may be one of your last shots here.
Well, he's gone back to the dugout.
Yeah.
Looks like Jose Offerman, number 30, the veteran, a switch hitter, and he's going to come out now as the pinch hitter for Henry Blanco.
Again, you mentioned Blanco's low batting average, but it's just his approach has not been very good, against the Yankees right-handers who are throwing breaking balls, and I think that's why Gardenhire says, no, this may be my last shot. I'm going to take the shot right here. And I think that's it. And that's what I'm saying. They've seen Lieber, and he's pitched well, and I think Joe Torre wants to keep his confidence level up, so he's going to go in and get him some help.
And Jose Offerman 3 for 18 lifetime against Flash Gordon. So Lieber leaves the mound, and they give him a lusty ovation at Yankee Stadium. All right, and here is Lieber back in the dugout for the Yankees. He's a spectator now. The possible tying run over there at second base in the person of Christian Guzman, who is a fast runner. And Jose Offerman was the Twins' best pinch hitter. He had .414 as a pinch hitter. He's never done well against Gordon, however. He tries to throw the breaking ball but misses very high with ball 1. He's had 3 hits in 18 lifetime at bats against Gordon, but he was the Twins, as we say, most trustworthy and effective pinch hitter this year. Base hit could tie the game. We're in the 7th. And that's inside. 2-0.
And Flash Gordon basically fastball, cut fastball, and a great overhand curveball. Big breaking curveball.
Guzman away from second. That ball is blooped and caught. Miguel Cairo. The side is retired. That saved a run. Cairo will be coming up. Then Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. Yankees lead 4-3, middle of the 7th.
ESPN's Major League Baseball Division Series, presented by Budweiser. Brought to you by Samuel Adams. When you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams. Always a good decision.
Welcome back into our baseball studio here at ESPN. Matt Weiner and Steve Phillips together for the triple header, all 3 parts. We saw game 1 on ESPN. Astros and Braves. Houston's lost 3 of their 4 postseason series to the Braves, their last 4, I should say, but they did strike first in this series, the NLDS. It was a tight game fairly early until the third. Lance Berkman in a 2-1 game makes that lead 3 runs with a 2-run shot. And that's where the Astro offense took off against Jared Wright.
Well, they're riding the wave. The Killer Bees did it today. 8 for 16, 2 homers, a triple, two doubles, 7 runs scored, 5 RBI. These guys swung the bat. Great momentum. Roger Clemens was fantastic.
First Game 1 win of Roger Clemens' career. If you can believe that, he's now 9-6 in the postseason all-time. And the Stros and Braves will go at it again tomorrow for Game 2, an ESPN game, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Less than an hour's time, Game 2 of the ALDS between Boston and Anaheim. Pretty good pitching matchup. A couple of named pitchers whose ERAs have been going in opposite directions this season.
Well, both these guys have something to prove. Pedro Martinez needs to get it on track if the Red Sox are going to go where they want. Bartolo Colon has to live up to the big contract he got last offseason.
Hey, he was so bad the first part of the season. You saw what he's did the last few. Let's get back out to Yankee Stadium and the conclusion. Twins and Yanks. Here's Joe and John.
All right, and here we are. Back at the big ballpark in the Bronx, where the Yankees have a 4-3 lead as we go to the last half of the 7th inning. And let's take a look at the Bristol-Myers Squibb game track. Justin Morneau hit a double that put the Yankees ahead in the first inning. Torrey Hunter scored all the way from first. Then Derek Jeter led off the Yankees first inning with a spectacular home run into the black seats in straightaway center. With the Twins leading 3-1, Gary Sheffield hit a 2-run homer down the left field line to tie it. That was in the third. And A-Rod hit a long home run to deep left center near that 399 marker. And that put the Yankees ahead, a lead they still enjoy, 4-3, New York. As the Yankees come up here, they wouldn't mind. Joe Torre wouldn't mind if they went ahead and tacked on another couple of runs to that lead. But they are already into Mariano Rivera territory. It's just a question of when Torrey decides he wants to make the move for Mariano.
Well, John, I think we're going to show the fans something really interesting. I think here we're going to show you what goes through the minds of the brain trust to make a move. You see Mel Stottlemyre right there. He's looking at the statistics of Offerman against Flash Gordon. Now Joe Torre nods and says, yeah, let's do it. But watch Joe. He'll get up, start to go to the mound to take Lieberman out, but he hasn't called to make sure now that Flash Gordon's ready. So Todd Stottlemyre calls down. He says he's ready. Now Joe Torre goes and gets it. All that goes into the thinking before you make a move like Joe Torre did. They wanted to know what Offerman was hitting and against Flash Gordon, and it worked out perfectly for them.
There's Pat Borders, the veteran, still in the big leagues. He's now 41 years old. And he is doing the catching after Blanco was lifted for a pinch hitter. And Brad Radke misses with a ball 1 to Miguel Cairo. Cairo, who has twice grounded out to short, hitting 9th in the order. Derek Jeter on deck. 4-3 Yankees. That is a called strike, the high strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And just to finish that story, let's show you what Joe Torre and Todd Stottlemyre did afterwards. Mel Stottlemyre, I want to call him Todd as Mel.
Look out, right over his head. 2-1.
And here's the pitch from Gordon. And Cairo makes the catch. Gordon's excited. And there's Joe Torre. And Mel Stottlemyre. Mel says, whoa.
Yeah, well, that would have been one of those excellent pitches, but
yeah, it didn't work.
Maybe just enough to be a hit. Twins bullpen is busy now. As Cairo has a count of 3-1. And Radke drops in that breaking ball. Strike 2.
Well, that's pitching right there. That tells you how much confidence he has in his control to be able to throw a 3-1 curveball when he thinks the hitter's sitting dead red, and he's going to take the curveball. You don't even have to make it a good curveball, just a strike.
Australian-born Grant Balfour back up in the Minnesota bullpen. Hard-throwing right-hander.
And you see the difference right there. Now we're going to see Borders go out and talk to him. Most of the time tonight, Blanco and Radke were on the same page. So he threw him a 3-1 curveball. He knew what he wanted to throw right away, but Borders did not know what he wanted to throw. So now he goes out and gets it correct with him. Now they're both on the same page. But see, Blanco had handled him perfectly throughout the ball game. And that's just one of the problems you have when you change a battery this late in the ball game.
3-2 the count. And he walks him. That is the third walk allowed by Radke. Now to the top of the order, and Derek Jeter coming up. Now let's go down to Gary Miller.
For the game. Now here's one of the most accomplished and disciplined hitters in all the majors, and I said, do you do anything differently during batting practice? Do you work on anything? He said, no, not really. I said, not even going to right. He said, no, I do that anyway every time I hit. I just go up, try to get loose, build up a sweat. Then he watched Sheffield park one into that black area, and he was in awe. What does he do his first time up? He hits one out there himself.
Well, you'd expect Sheffield could do it, but Derek Jeter became only the 20th in the 29 years since they remodeled this ballpark to hit one into those seats. Now he bunts at one and misses. Strike one.
And that doesn't surprise me because Joe Torre knows that he has to manufacture some runs as well. Jeter takes all the mystery out of that first run by hitting it up on the tarp. But right now, there you see, he comes out for the curtain call. But right now, this one more run is important for the Yankees. And that's why he's such a good team player. Joe Torre doesn't hesitate to ask him in that situation to bunt the runner in the scoring position.
Jeter to Koski. Koski wanted to go to second, but Guzman was pointing him over to first while he was covering second base, and that's where Koski went. And Jeter, who had 16 sacrifice bunts during the season, gets another one right here.
But John, a lot of hitters, a lot of players, if you've hit a home run and the manager asks you to bunt, they're not happy with it. Derek Jeter is a winning type ball player. He does whatever it takes to win. He knows that right now that run at second base is far more important than him having a chance to swing the bat. So Joe Torre asked him to do it. He gets the job done. That's how you play winning baseball.
And there's some guys who not only would not be happy doing it,
right,
who are not really capable of doing it.
And they wouldn't, they'd foul a couple off.
I mean, some guys just are not good bunters. Their heart isn't in it. Here's Alex Rodriguez, and he's had a big game. A single to the third that set up a two-run rally. He scored in Sheffield's homer, and then he hit a home run to put the Yankees ahead in the fifth inning. That's called a strike at the inside, and it is 0-1. The Yankees at the top of the order, Jeter, Rodriguez, and Sheffield. They've done all the damage to Radke in this one. 4 hits, 9 at-bats, all 3 of the home runs, and all 4 of the RBIs here in Game 2. They got on base a lot in Game 1, but nobody ever scored. That's a base hit. Left center field. And that will get Cairo home. They get the little extra insurance thanks to the bunt by Jeter. It is 5-3 Yankees. And here comes Gardenhire quickly out of the Minnesota dugout. That's going to do it for Brad Radke. The first hit of the series by a Yankee with a runner in scoring position, and it comes from Rodriguez, who had so many problems for the first part of the season. Balfour coming in to face Sheffield when we come back. In Anaheim, I feel like we should do it like a public address announcer, you know. The right fielder, Gary Sheffield.
There you see Grant Balfour.
Now, I understand, Joe, he throws hard.
Well, that fits right in with what Gary Sheffield does. He swings hard. So this is one of those classic confrontations that you like to see in baseball.
So here's Balfour, who hails from Sydney, Australia. Now in Sydney, it is lunchtime tomorrow. It's a little bit after noon tomorrow. I don't know if we're on down in Sydney or not. But good day and welcome to Yankee Stadium, New York. Grant Balfour from Sydney to Yankee Stadium. Balfour, 26 years old, and a big moment for him here.
And the harder he throws it, the harder Gary Sheffield will swing.
High and tight, ball 1. That one on the stadium radar gun clocked at 95 miles an hour. Balfour got into 36 games this year with a 4.35 ERA. 39 1/3 innings pitched, 42 strikeouts. Sheffield with a 2-run homer in the third. He's 1 for 3 in the game. And Alex Rodriguez, he's not just an excellent hitter. A-Rod can steal a bag. Rodriguez stole 28 times this year and only got thrown out 4.
And he's also a member of the 40-40 club. 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases the same season.
And there's Matsui, another power hitter on deck. And that causes him to bend back out of the way. Well, Balfour, you might have to forgive me if he's a little overexcited right now in his first postseason game in Major League Baseball. And here it is at Yankee Stadium, and he's facing Gary Sheffield. J.C. Romero, a hard-throwing left-hander up in the Minnesota bullpen.
I just want to see him throw a strike because I want to see Gary let it go.
Well, look at that. He threw him a strike, a slider at the knees.
Smart pitch.
2-1 now. Balfour from William Clark High School in Kellyville, New South Wales, where he played both baseball and rugby. One-time Rookie of the Year in the Sydney Baseball League 9 years ago. He had some problems with his shoulder early this season, was on the disabled list. Two balls and a strike to the dangerous Sheffield. Ooh, fastball popped up foul. Coming back, borders, but it's onto the screen. And the count now 2-2.
But I have to tell you, John, he did not get to that one. It looked like it was up a little bit, but watch, he doesn't get the barrel out front. See right there, his barrel's right at the plate. Watch when he makes contact. His barrel's right there. See, it's not out front. The ball out here is where he would have liked to handle that pitch. So Balfour's got a little giddy up on the fastball.
2-2 the count. That one, the stadium radar gun clocked it at 94 miles an hour.
And the reason I said it because Gary knew a fastball was coming. He was sitting dead red, but he just couldn't quite get there.
Alex Rodriguez at first base, having an excellent night. Now he's back to the bag. You know, we were talking about Alex for much of this season. He was much criticized here in New York because he was hitting so poorly in the clutch with men in scoring position. But from the time that he was moved to the number 2 spot about a month ago by Joe Torre, he raised his overall average with men in scoring position by some 50 points. And that's high and tight, 3-2. And he's not been performing like a guy who's trying too hard or struggling or anything else. He's been performing like a veteran Yankee player in this series so far. He's had 5 hits in 8 at-bats. And tonight, 2 singles, a homer, and 2 batted in, 2 scored. There he goes. Sheffield right back to Balfour. He throws to second in time. Back to first. Double play. And Alex Rodriguez very unhappy at second base with Mike Everett. He thought he was in there safely. Balfour took a chance and got away with it. On to the 8th inning, at the top of the order. Stewart, Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter. It is 5-3. The Yankees lead the Twins in the top of the 8th inning coming up now. And Flash Gordon going to work against the top of the batting order here. And Mariano Rivera getting ready in the bullpen. October, 8 teams, 1 champion. The race to the World Series is on. And you can catch the action on ESPN and ESPN2. So don't miss any of it. There's Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, in attendance tonight, Joe.
Yeah, I didn't see him go on the field before the game. I was surprised.
And this ball, well, he retired.
Oh.
He's not playing anymore. 1 ball and no strikes to Shannon Stewart, who was flied out, grounded into a force play, and flied out again. So John Lieber was able to keep Shannon Stewart off the bases tonight. Fastball came right after him, and it was fouled right back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jock Jones and Torrey Hunter on deck. So the Twins' best home run hitters are coming up here. Jones on deck, hit 24. Torrey Hunter behind him. There's Jock. Torrey in the hole. He hit 23. And Justin Morneau the cleanup hitter. He's got a lot of power. And Koski's got 25. That's a called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Twins have not scored since the second inning when they took a 3-1 lead in this game. They have had only 3 hits since the second inning. All singles. 1-2 to Shannon Stewart. He's the igniter at the top of the order. They need him to get on. On the fists, and a bloop foul into the seats. 56,354, the paid crowd at Yankee Stadium here for Game 2. The series will move on to Minnesota after the game tonight. And we'll see, I'm sure, a huge crowd at the Metrodome on Friday night, 8 Eastern time. We'll have the broadcast on ESPN, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Friday. And there's the former mayor of New York City, Rudolph Giuliani, a great Yankees fan, and he's always at these big ball games here at the stadium.
John, one thing to remember, if you're the Twins fan, you say, well, look, a split in New York, if they're not able to come back, is not nearly as bad as it could be.
Fastball too high.
Because when you start on the road, I think your first thought is to split. But when you win the first game, obviously that gives you the opportunity to really take advantage of the lead in the series. But the problem is, you go back to Minnesota and they split there, then you're going to have a Game 5 in Yankee Stadium, and that's not good for the visiting team.
And not too low. So this is turning into quite a battle that Shannon Stewart is giving Flash Gordon. 3-2 the count.
And there's the reason you don't like having to play the 5th or the 7th game here in Yankee Stadium. A lot of those championships were won right here in the final game.
3-2 the count. That's into right field, but Sheffield has room. 1 out.
It was a nice play to end the inning by the Twins. Even though Alex Rodriguez was running, Sheffield grounds it back to Balfour. He quickly turns. He doesn't even look. He fires, and it clearly out at second base, and a nice return to first base in time to get Sheffield. Now watch, he is out. The ball is there. He hasn't touched the bag yet. Rodriguez is probably saying that he was off the bag, but it appeared that he did have his foot on the bag when he caught the ball.
So Kadire turned it nicely. It looked like A-Rod's front foot went right over the bag. I mean, I think he should have been safe, Joe.
But the throw definitely beat him on that play.
No, but I mean, he was not safe. But I'm saying his front foot that should have been in the bag went right over the top of the bag. 0-1 the count to Jock Jones. Jones had a single in the first inning, and he's also grounded out and been called out on strikes. He's 1 for 3. That's a dribbler foul off to the right.
Let's take another look, John. And
look at that left leg. Look at the foot.
Actually, the ball is there before he is there, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that ball was there before. Now watch, see, the ball is there, and his foot hasn't reached the bag yet. But you're also correct that he made a poor slide and that his leg was over the bag.
0-2 the count, and there's the curveball. That's low. By the way, that is not Mariano Rivera warming up in the Yankee bullpen, but rather Esteban Loaiza.
Well, remember one thing. He pitched an inning yesterday, and I was wondering about that. I know Joe Torre brought him in to keep it close, but I was wondering about him pitching that one inning yesterday when they were behind.
The curve in the dirt. Jones heads for first, and he's going to make it. So Flash Gordon strikes him out, but does not get him out. So Jones is aboard on a strikeout on a wild pitch, and that brings up Torrey Hunter as the possible tying run.
And now I think Mariano Rivera is getting up in the bullpen.
There's Mariano Rivera, number 42. So he will start the throw here momentarily.
The center fielder, Torrey Hunter.
Rich Monteleone, himself a former pitcher, the Yankees bullpen coach out there. So Torrey Hunter coming up. Back to the bag is Jock Jones. Well, that really shocked the crowd here. because they were cheering for a strikeout. They got the strikeout, but all of a sudden the man who struck out is at first. So Torrey Hunter, the possible tying run, 1 for 3 in the game. And that's too low. 1 ball and no strikes. Justin Morneau, the young slugger who hit 41 home runs this year, although the first 22 of them he hit in AAA ball. But he hit at almost the same home run pace once he got to the big leagues. He's on deck. And of course, any left-handed hitter with power, Yankee Stadium's right field porch beckons. It's a very friendly home run porch out there in right field. 1 ball, no strikes. That one is hammered to center. That one is in there, base hit. But Bernie deked catching that ball, and Jock Jones held up long enough that he could only get to second base.
Well, the ball was hit so hard that it looked like it could carry all the way to Bernie Williams. It did not. So he was able to hold Jock Jones to second base.
This is game 2 of the American League Division Series from Yankee Stadium, New York. The Twins leading 1-0, but the Yankees leading game 2 5-3 here in the 8th inning. But right now the Twins mounting a threat. Jock Jones reaching, striking out on a wild pitch, then Hunter with the single to center. And they may be stalling for time now to get Mariano fully ready in that bullpen. The catcher Posada out to the mound to chat with Flash Gordon. Justin Morneau, who has driven in 1 run tonight, the young slugger, coming up.
And remember one thing, Flash Gordon is a strikeout pop-up pitcher. He's not necessarily a ground ball pitcher.
Not a get the double play kind of a guy.
I mean, he can get a double play with his curveball and the guy swing over the top of it. But
well, they have stalled long enough to get Joe Torre out of the dugout. Rivera apparently is ready, or just about ready, in that bullpen. So 2 men on for the Twins. Rivera's going to have to get 5 outs here, and he did work an inning yesterday through 14 pitches in the 9th inning yesterday.
But Joe said he wouldn't have any problem bringing him in for 6 outs today.
Torre has not made a call.
Well, he's just trying to give himself some more time. There it is.
There's the call, and Flash Gordon departs, giving Mariano Rivera a little extra time for a couple of more throws. Rivera coming in. There is Mariano Rivera. The Yankees are leading 5-3. And especially in the postseason, when Rivera comes in, usually the game is over. 2 men on, 1 man out. Morneau, a bloop, dropping. It's in front of Sheffield. A base hit that rolls away. Coming in to score is Jock Jones. Going to third, Torrey Hunter. It is now 5-4. Morneau muscled one of those cutters where nobody could catch it over the head of Cairo, just in front of Sheffield. So the rookie from British Columbia comes through in the clutch.
And another heads-up play by Torrey Hunter to get to third base. He could tell that ball was going to drop in. Big swing by Morneau, but it just does not go very far. Sheffield gives it a great effort, can't get there. He does a good job of blocking it, keeping it from going past him. And that kept the double play in order. Runners at first and third now. But a great play there by Sheffield just to keep it in front of him.
Well, here's Koski now. The possible tying run at third base. Koski, it's 0-1. Koski, who hit 25 home runs during the season, only played 118 games. So he's got a lot of power. Now, Mariano Rivera has only ever blown 2 postseason saves. One was in 1997 against Cleveland in the division series, and of course one was the 7th game of the World Series in Arizona 3 years ago. The infield back for the double play. There's that cutter in the hands, fouled back out of play. 0-2 the count. But Rivera has only 1 out here, and the possible tying run now at third base with that excellent base running, Joe, you're talking about, by Torrey Hunter.
Well, the one thing I've watched here with these 2 pitches, he is not trying to hit him on the handle. He's trying to strike him out. Those were his best fastballs that he could possibly throw. One was clocked at 94, the other at 93. That was a cutter.
That one is back up into the upper deck off to the left. Still 0-2.
Actually, you can see his release point there. He was trying to get that ball to move in more.
Yeah, for most of his career, because of that cutter that runs in on a lefty, he's been tougher on lefties even than right-handed hitters. Five to 4, the Yankees lead. The possible tying run at third with only one out. Up and away. Sometimes he'll try and backdoor that cutter from the outside and then back over the corner.
That was not a cutter there. That was just a fastball, and he was hoping he would chase it out of the strike zone because he had thrown a cutter in on his hands a pitch before. That was just a fastball away. He's also throwing more of those pitches, fastballs away instead of the cutters, not just cutting every pitch.
And foul back.
So he stood out there again. I think, so he's trying to strike him out. He's not trying to hit him on the handle. Maybe he flare one or even trying for the double play. He's going for the strike out there.
On deck is Jason Kubel, the rookie. Koski has never had a hit against Mariano Rivera, although he's only had 4 career at-bats against him. Hunter, the possible tying run at third. Morneau, the possible go-ahead run at first. One out. Ooh, man. Did he swing? The appeal? No. Third base umpire Jerry Crawford ruling in favor of Corey Koski. And that one had hellacious movement on it.
That was a cutter. That was a real cutter down and in. And he does seem to hold up there. Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. It all started when Gordon struck out Jones on a wild pitch, and Jones reached off the outside.
See, again, that's not the cut fastball. He is trying to nail the outside corner there. Now look, he's trying to nail the outside corner, and it's off the plate outside. That's with the straight fastball.
All right, now Justin Morneau is at first base. Is he being sent here?
But this is a tough situation for the Yankees defensively. If they send him, you're already playing back. You can't come home. Now they're going to pinch run, and that tells you, yes, they're going to send him.
All right, so
I can answer your question, yes.
Okay. Luis Rivas in the run for Morneau at first base.
That tells you right there what they're going to do. But now what do you do if you're the Yankees? I believe that if you're the Yankees and they're going to send him, you know they are, maybe you come in a half a step because you can no longer go second to short to first for a double play.
Rivas stole 15 bases in 16 tries this year. He runs well. Runners at first and third, 1 out. 3-2 the count. And Rivas back to the bag.
And the Yankees have not changed their defensive alignment at all. I guess he's going to maybe, since you are the home team, it's not bad to concede, the tying run if you're Joe Torre.
This has been quite a battle from Corey Koski. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat that he will have seen. But Mariano Rivera, with his attention cut in half, he's got to also keep an eye on that runner at first.
I think you have to throw through if he does go.
There he goes. That's along the left field line. That one twisting into the corner. That ball is a fair ball. It bounces over the seats or up into the seats for an automatic double that might have cost the Twins a run.
It definitely cost the Twins a run because Rivas was running with the pitch. He was going to score easily from first base had that ball bounced against the wall.
Torrey Hunter does score. And Luis Rivas is forced to stop at third because the ball left the field of play. Automatically 2 bases.
Interesting choice of pitches. He chooses to go away again. He almost got him to chase the cutter inside. See, that's not a cut fastball. That's just a fastball away that he was trying to throw by him, and he fights it off down the left field line.
Now the Yankees infield is in. Here is the rookie, Kubel. And that is a strike on the inside.
That was an interesting choice of pitching. The pitch he almost struck him out on was a cutter. I'm surprised they didn't go back inside with another cutter.
The 2 runs in this inning are charged to the record of Flash Gordon. The 2 runners on there belong to Mariano Rivera, who's given up a single and a double. And Kubel helps him out that time, swinging the pitch up around his eyes, and it's 0-2. Kubel has struck out, grounded to short, and grounded out to first. Torrey Hunter with 2 hits tonight and 2 runs scored, and his base running was a big reason for both of his runs. His aggressiveness, taking an extra base. And he goes up there again, strike 3.
Smart pitching there. Again, I still have to question the pitch to Koski, but perfect pitches there to Kubel just to strike him out. He chased one up the ladder, so he just keep going up the ladder.
So Kubel, who started the year in Double-A ball, strikes out here in a pitch way out of the strike zone. Now Christian Guzman, a switch hitter, comes up. Runners still at second and third. The Twins with a chance to take the lead. At least the infield now for the Yankees can drop back to normal depth. Guzman, who started as a Yankee farmhand, fouls one down off his feet.
And they're playing Guzman back. I wouldn't play him too deep. I mean, he is capable of dropping down a bunt. Plus, he runs well, so if he hits a chopper someplace. I see at first base, you see Olerud all the way back.
1 strike to count. Rivas, the runner at third, the possible go-ahead run. Again, that cutter running right in on the hands. Now it is 0-2. Guzman, 1 hit in 5 career at-bats against Rivera. 5-5 in the 8th inning. It's a blown save for Rivera. That one is off the glove of Rivera. He recovers and gets him. But the strikeout by Flash Gordon on a wild pitch, that started the 2-run rally that has tied the game. Matsui coming up. All right, so here we go back at Yankee Stadium. And Mariano Rivera, for only the 3rd time in 33 postseason save chances, fails to get the save.
Now, see, that's impressive. If you'd have said 20, then I wouldn't have been impressed. But that's the 3rd time. Now, that's impressive.
3rd time in 33. Well, he's in a slump now, Joe. It happened just 3 years ago.
Very impressive.
That's, you know, once every 4 postseasons now it's happening. Hideki Matsui takes ball 1 from the new Minnesota pitcher, Juan Rincon. He's been their setup man in front of Joe Nathan, the closer. And Matsui has walked, singled, and flied to shallow center. Ooh, the high hard one at 94 miles an hour. Other changes for the Twins. Luis Rivas, who came in as a runner for Morneau, now at second base, and Kadire moves from second over to first base. So a new alignment on the right side of the infield for the Twins. Matsui, then Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada coming up for the Yankees here in the 8th inning. 5-5. This crowd got to be a little bit in a state of shock. Mariano Rivera gave up a lead.
Well,
that's a called strike 2.
Well, the first guy got jammed, and that set up the inning for the Twins. He jammed him and he flared it into right center field. That set up the inning and put a lot of pressure on the Yankees. And again, I just wonder about the pitch that he threw. I mean, his best pitch is his cutter, and he threw a fastball away, and Koski hit it.
Matsui slaps a foul off the left field line.
But again, I think that was caused again by the speed of the Twins. They knew when he sent Rivas in the run that Rivas was going to go. So that eliminates the double play ground ball right there. So he was going just strictly for the strikeout, and he did not get it.
And you don't often see a manager make a move like that, not when the at bat is almost completed.
But I think it was very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart.
1-2. But I'm just saying, very smart and not very often done.
Yeah, but and again, making that move put a lot of pressure on the Yankee defense at that point.
Mariano Rivera came on with 2 men on, 1 man out. Morneau got a bloop single against him to not get a run. And then Koski in that protracted at bat. Hit a double down the left field line, and by all rights, the Twins should be leading right now. There's a slider, strike 3.
Matsui was wondering whether he hit the ball and it hit the ground first. He was contending that it was a foul ball. But home plate umpire Mark Wegner says he did not touch it. Well, it doesn't appear to me that he touched it. It also appears that he caught it. Even if he touched it, fouled it, he caught it anyway.
So Matsui is the first Yankee to strike out in this game. Now Bernie Williams. Rincon had an outstanding season. Bernie hits a pop foul off to the left. Rincon was 11-6. Had 11 wins as a reliever. 77 games he pitched 82 innings and only allowed 52 base hits. And he had 106 strikeouts in 82 innings. He had closer type numbers. Fastball just missing on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John, we've talked several times about this being a different Yankee team than the ones we saw winning world championships, etc. And that last inning just kind of proved it. When the Yankees would get ahead of you by 2 runs going into the 8th inning, it was pretty much a done deal. Yeah. That is not the case anymore.
1-1 to Bernie, and that's a foul out of play. Now Bernie, the veteran of so many postseason games, and how many times have we seen Bernie over the years get a big home run in a spot just like this, late in a game, or even to end a game?
Well, unless Rincon makes a mistake, he's not going to pull this ball, because he is already behind the count with 2 strikes, and his fastball is tailing away. Unless he throws him something off speed inside, he's not going to be able to pull him.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and that is low. 2-2. Bernie Williams against Rincon has never had a hit. Forget a home run, he's never had a hit, although he's only faced him 4 times.
Yeah, we're not going to hold that against him. See, again, there's that 4. You know, that's unique. If it was 20, then I'd agree with you.
Well, Koski had never had a hit against Mariano Rivera, but it was also only 4 times.
That doesn't, you know.
Now he's 1 for 5 against him. That one is ripped. Short hop by Rivas. He's got the sore elbow, but he throws out Bernie Williams. That's why Rivas was not in the starting lineup in either game. 2 down, nobody out. In the first half of the 8th, Jock Jones reached when he struck out a ball in the dirt that got away from Posada. Then, after Hunter hit a single, Rivera came in and Morneau hit this bloop. And Torrey Hunter was able to streak around to third base as Jock Jones scored. And then the double by Koski that bounced into the crowd. Hunter scored the tying run, and Rivas would have scored the go-ahead run, but when that ball bounced into the crowd, he was not allowed. Here is Posada, another powerful hitter, and he takes a called strike with a breaking ball. You know, so I think that's a bad rule, this automatic double. You know, when the runner is running like that with 2 outs, I think the umpire should be given the discretion to make a ruling on it.
No, but that's a ground rule every place. When the ball bounces into the stands, there's 2 bases. I mean, it's always that way. Now the discretion he has if a guy reaches out and touches it.
If there's fan interference, the umpire can make that ruling. I'm just saying, I think they ought to change that rule.
No, I'm not going to agree with you there, because I don't think you can judge whether a guy can score all the time. You know what I mean?
I'm saying they might have judged that he wouldn't score.
The umpires have enough to do. I don't want to put. Hey, we don't want to put any more pressure on the umpires.
Joe Morgan, soon to be the president of the Umpires Association.
But I mean, you got guys running every place. He's watching out there to see where the ball is. He cannot always calculate, you know, whether the guy would have scored.
Well, I'm just saying, then just give him 2 bases if you couldn't calculate it.
Well, that's what they do.
But they are asked to calculate it if the fan reaches out and interferes with the ball.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Big difference.
I'm saying the runner is going with 2 outs.
The ball continues to go normally when the guy does it. But when the ball bounces into the stands, I mean, it's 2 bases. I mean, even when Babe Ruth played after they took a home run away, it was a home run for 1 point.
Because that's the way it was when the Babe played. Just keep it that way.
Yeah, just keep it that way.
Well, I think that's wrong.
Well, fix the ground around there where it doesn't bounce.
Well, I agree with that, too. Now, fan interference, I've seen umpires give a guy a triple on fan interference. And I've seen him give him a single right here at Yankee Stadium on fan interference. It's not always 2 bases if the fan interferes. That's a ground ball foul as Posada battles it out here with Rincon in a 5-5 game. Coming up over on ESPN2, the second game of the American League Division Series between the Red Sox and the Angels at Angel Stadium. And if you're tuning in to see Game 2 between Boston and Anaheim, it's starting on ESPN2 very shortly. We will immediately join that game in progress once this game in New York is over, right here on ESPN. That's the first time you and I ever had a disagreement about a thing like that.
Yeah, but I don't think that they should put any more on the umpires. They have enough problems as it is.
1-2 the count to Posada. And another foul out of play. Posada hit 30 home runs last year, and he's got the power to put the Yankees back ahead here. Now, see, in Minnesota, they're all agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Here in New York, it's like, listen, we got a great game going. Why do you have to talk about that now? Posada had 21 homers this year. And you got a very pensive, tense-looking stadium full of Yankee fans right now. 2 down, nobody on. Rincon struck him out with a spectacular slider. Man, that was unhittable. 2 strikeouts in the inning. On to the 9th inning. Kadire coming up. It's 5-5. All right, that should be a really good one. But right here, we've got a great one going. The Twins 5, the Yankees 5. On to the 9th inning. Mariano Rivera, who pitched the 9th inning last night. He threw only 14 pitches. But he threw 15 pitches under duress in the 8th inning already tonight. Now he's just trying to save the tie. Kadire to be followed by Borders and Stewart. At least those are the 3 due-up. Kadire breaks his bat and right to A-Rod. 1 away. Kadire now 2 for 4 in this game with a run batted in. Mariano Rivera with a blown save. He inherited 2 runners from Flash Gordon, and they both scored. One on a single by Morneau, and then one on a double by Koski.
And remember one thing, though, John, he is not used as normal closers are, even in the postseason. He came in with runners in scoring position, whereas most of the time the closers will come in to start the inning with no one on base. So Joe Torre has used him in a variety of ways over the years, and he has always performed well.
I mean, that's why, I mean, he's been, especially in the postseason, the greatest relief pitcher ever, because Torre has many times used him more than 1 inning, and many times for the last 2 innings of games. Torre manipulates that. Usually it's before a day off, and there are always days off every 2 or 3 days in these postseason series. But he knows he's going to get a day off tomorrow and should be fresh and ready to go on Friday. That's a foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pat Borders. Not many other closers really capable of getting maybe more than the 3 outs or maybe 4 outs. Over on ESPN2, the Red Sox and Angels getting ready to play ball. That telecast has already started, although the game has not yet started. But when that game shifts here, you'll be able to pick up that game right after the Red Sox Minnesota game here on ESPN. The Yankees Minnesota game. Now I've got entirely different teams playing each other. When the Yankees Twins game is over, the Red Sox Anaheim game being seen on ESPN2 will switch over here to ESPN. That cutter, he might have broken Borders' bat. He hit it right off the end of the bat, and Olerud gets the unassisted put out. 2 men gone. And the leadoff man, Shannon Stewart, will come up. You remember last year in Game 7, that just memorable Game 7 in the League Championship Series, the Red Sox and the Yankees. Mariano went 3 innings. And finally, in the 11th inning, Aaron Boone hit the home run to end it.
Well, there was no tomorrow in that situation, so to speak, and you know, if you didn't win. I wondered, I don't know if I wondered aloud on the air, John, but I was wondering if Mariano had enough time to warm up before he came in.
Yeah.
And I asked, you know, if he had been throwing earlier, because I hadn't noticed he was throwing, and Peter Pasquarelli, one of our crack stats guys, says that he doesn't need a lot to warm up. So, you know, and he knows a little bit more about that than I do. But I was just wondering if he actually had enough time to warm up, because we saw him stretching, and then, you know, 2 minutes later he's coming in from the bullpen. So he seems, and my point is, he seems to be throwing better right now than he was the last inning.
Yeah.
He's getting the cutter down where he was getting it up a little bit before.
1-1 the count to Shannon Stewart. That's an accidental foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They have not had a good swing at him this entire inning.
Well, Torrey knew that Rivera was not ready when he went to the mound, because he went out there and stalled. And they had been stalling even before Torrey went to the mound. So it's a legitimate question. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit softly to Cairo. So Rivera with a very strong 9th inning. Ruben Sierra, John Olerud, Miguel Cairo coming up. The Yankees looking for a hero. 5-5 into the last of the 9th. So here we go. The big crowd at Yankee Stadium. Many on their feet as Ruben Sierra comes up to try and get the Yankees going here. Or maybe even to try and be a hero. Sierra, who's got lots of power. He nearly hit a home run last night against Santana in game 1. Now he's batting left-handed here. And a ball and no strikes.
He's a very good fastball hitter, especially low fastball. And John Olerud on deck. If he gets a low fastball, he can end this game in a hurry.
Juan Rincon into his 2nd inning of work. A mighty cut, but he fouls it back to the screen. Up ball, 1 strike. Everybody's standing at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees 5, the Twins 5. The Yankees need a win. The next 2 games scheduled in Minnesota. And a slider. That one almost hit him. The Yankee bullpen is busy. Tanyan Sturtz, the right-hander, is warming up.
John, you know what I'm noticing here, not only with the fans, but the players on the Yankees. They have a lot more respect for this Twins team than the one they played last year. I think the fans sense it too, that this Twins team is ready to compete.
And a high foul that will go out of play off the left field line. Koski from third and Guzman from short started over, but it was well back into the crowd. 2-2 to Ruben Sierra. Sierra at one time was one of the top players in the American League, an MVP candidate. Looked like he was headed to the Hall of Fame. He has resurrected his career, and coming back here to play for the Yankees last year, which was a huge upset, but he's done well. Slider, yanked foul over toward the battalion of cameramen in that camera well just beyond the Yankee dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There they are to record the epic moments of this game. And Ruben Sierra is trying to provide one of those epic moments.
One of the things about Sierra, he uses a big, heavy bat, and a lot of times that slider down in is hard to stop it. But he is a very good low fastball hitter once he starts it and lets it go.
And right field beckons here at Yankee Stadium. It's only 314 feet to that right field foul pole. Straight away right field, down the line. It's reachable. In there, strike 3 call. 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. Sierra argues with Mark Wegner. Sierra and Wegner still conversing. Finally, Sierra heads back. I thought the pitch looked pretty good, though.
Well, it was a low pitch, which is what Sierra likes. I mean, he's a good low fastball hitter. I mean, I thought that was the pitch that he was looking for the entire at bat, but he did not swing at it. One thing about John Olerud, we talked about the fact he's not a real home run hitter. but I think he will take one shot at pulling the ball, not necessarily trying to hit it out.
Olerud takes a strike.
But I was thinking he would try to get himself in one position here into a count where he could sit on a pitch and try to pull it, not necessarily again trying to hit it out, but give himself one shot at the short porch in right field.
Olerud has hit 248 homers in his career. That is a breaking ball, and Kadire waves off Rincon, and Olerud is retired. Olerud now 1 for 4 in the game. 2 down, nobody on. And Miguel Cairo will come up now with Derek Jeter coming out on deck. Now, if we get to the 10th inning, Joe Torre has got Tanyan Sturtz getting ready. But Mariano Rivera still there in the dugout with the jacket on his right arm.
Well, I think it's an interesting decision you make here if you're Joe Torre and the game is still tied as you go to the 10th inning. As you mentioned, we have seen Mariano Rivera pitch 3 innings before.
And a hanging slider that time, but punched foul by Miguel Cairo. Well, Rivera had that laborious 8th inning where he inherited base runners, gave up a couple of hits, had to pitch under stress, and threw 15 pitches. He threw 10 more in the 9th inning, had a quick, quiet inning. That's 25 pitches, and that's a pretty good night's work usually for a closer.
But I think the question will be how much of importance does what importance does Torre place on this game tonight?
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing he's saying it's pretty important.
Yeah, I would think so. But you know, whether he thinks that he can go 3 innings or not.
1 ball, 1 strike. That one drills the catcher, Pat Borders.
I think he's telling him that's enough. I guess that's what that signal means. Because then Alex Rodriguez pats him on the leg, so I'm assuming they're telling him that he's finished for the night.
No, it's almost as if Mariano went in there and said, hey, I can keep going.
Yeah.
But you know, when he went 3 innings in Game 7 against Boston in the League Championship Series, you know, that was to get them into the World Series.
Right.
Right. They didn't have another game the next day or in 2 days against Boston. That was just to get them to move on. And of course, Tanyan Sturtz being up in the bullpen all this inning sort of tells you what Joe Torre has in mind, I would think. But they've got another ball game Friday night in Minnesota. This series is going to go on, and they've got to have, you know, depending on how the series goes, they have to play at least 2 more games after tonight. That Rivera might have to pitch in both.
Well, they may not have to play 2 more after tonight if they lose this one. So, like I said, it's not an easy decision. I guarantee it wasn't. You know, Joe probably had his mind made up, because normally your closer, you let him go 2 innings. Because I'm thinking exactly the same thing with Gardenhire. He's using Rincon, but then he may bring Nathan in.
Yeah, he has not yet used his closer.
Right.
2-2 now to Miguel Cairo, who's battling it out here with Rincon. Rincon, the setup man in his 2nd inning of the game. Rincon has faced 5 hitters, retired them all, and struck out 3 of those 5. Juan Rincon, this will be his 32nd pitch. 2-2. And he yanked that one down and away on a fastball. 3-2. If we get to the 10th, and if Tanyan Sturtz is coming in, the men he will face are Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter, and Luis Rivas. Jones and Hunter with lots of power. Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, calling the Twins bullpen now. Derek Jeter would be next. 3-2 the count. Slider. Did he swing? Yeah. First base umpire Brian Gorman rings him up. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for Rincon. On to the 10th. Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter coming up. It's tied. Trying to jump out early against Bartolo Colon there. Meanwhile, it's late in New York. 10th inning. The Yankees struggling to even up this series before they go to Minnesota. Tanyan Sturtz on to face Jock Jones. Jock has had 1 hit in 4 at-bats, but it was his 2nd strikeout that started the 2-run rally in the 8th that tied the game. He struck out on a wild pitch.
Man.
And that's kind of a wild swing at a high fastball there.
Well, there's no doubt where he was trying to hit it.
You've seen a lot of Sturts in the past. He's had 22 career at-bats against him, 1 home run. Ooh, changed up with the breaking ball there, 1 and 2 on a foul tip. Meanwhile, the Twins bullpen is getting busy. Torrey Hunter on deck. Jock Jones had 24 home runs this year. His changeup struck him out.
Great job of pitching there by Sturts. Jock Jones helped him out. Instead of a 2-0 count, he made it 1-1, and that allowed Sturts to go to other pitches. Nice pitch right on the outside edge. You see he's gripping it down, a little change up that moves away.
Now Torrey Hunter, and that sinker runs down and in. Torrey Hunter, who has had 6 hits in 23 at bats against Sturts, including 1 home run. Fastball is low. 2-0 the count.
A little more patience there from Torrey Hunter. Now he gets him into the hitter's count.
Now, instead of Justin Morneau, the big left-handed batting slugger, up next, it's Luis Rivas. That one runs inside. 3-0. Check swing by Hunter. There's Rivas on deck, but he is not a power hitter. Although, I mean, he does have some power. He hit 10 home runs this year. 3-0 the count. That's in there for a strike. 3-1. Mariano Rivera went 1 2/3 innings. And now the Minnesota closer, Joe Nathan, has started throwing. Nathan, who is from this area. Broken back. Jeter going out. And Hunter is retired. 2 men down. Rivas goes back into the dugout now. And Matthew LeCroy will come out, and he's going to pinch hit for Rivas. LeCroy, big and strong, and he's got lots of power. LeCroy is hitting .269, 9 home runs in 264 at bats. And LeCroy, 5 hits in 15 at bats as a pinch hitter. But how about this, Joe? He's had 5 pinch hits, 4 of them home runs. So he's been the Twins' best at hitting the long ball as a pinch hitter.
Well, with 2 outs, that's what you send him up there for. Extra base hit, if not a home run.
Check swing, but he went around. That's Reckner making the ruling there, and I agree with him. 0-1. I'm sure he's thrilled to hear that I agree with him. Count is 0-1.
I'm sure he is.
Oh, and 2. Now the crowd at Yankee Stadium, more than 56,000, rise to their feet. And the changeup in the dirt. Since Corey Koski hit that double in the 8th inning that tied the ball game, no Twin has reached base, and no Twin has even hit the ball out of the infield. 2 down, nobody on in the 10th. A ball and 2 strikes to Matthew LeCroy. Another changeup. 2-2. The Yankees, in their half of the 10th, will give it their best shot. Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Gary Sheffield coming up. Fastball. Tried to put him away, but he had a mighty cut at that one.
Not a good pitch. Fastball up.
Derek Jeter will be leading off in the last of the 10th, perhaps against Joe Nathan, who's now getting ready. In fact, likely Joe Nathan, then A-Rod, and then Sheffield. There's Nathan. 2-2 the count. Now it's a full count. Corey Koski, the left-handed hitter with power, on deck. Twins once led this game 3-1 in the 2nd. Yankees tied it in the 3rd, went ahead in the 5th on A-Rod's homer. And LeCroy gets the walk.
Well, good job of battling there by LeCroy. Fell behind the count early, but he just kept battling, and now he becomes the runner at first base, where he can score on something in the gap.
And Ron Gardenhire knows that he's got the guy who led his team in home runs coming up now, Corey Koski. Koski had 25 homers, but when you consider he only played 118 games, that's a lot of home runs. At that pace, that could translate into 35 to 40 home runs over a full season. He's got lots of power. He has had 6 hits in 20 career at-bats against Sturts. 0-1. Koski has walked and scored a run, grounded out, struck out, and then he hit the double down the left field line against Mariano Rivera that tied the game in the 8th inning. There's LeCroy at first, and he is not a very fast runner. He has not so much as even attempted to steal a bag this year. 0-1 to Corey Koski. Tense moments for Yankee fans. Tanyan Sturts off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sturts, the former Tampa Bay Devil Ray, facing the former hockey player from Manitoba, Corey Koski, former Junior A hockey player. And a pop foul off to the left. Jeter and A-Rod both go over, but it is well back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Twins, who are trying to play catch up late in this game, have Lou Ford, a right-handed hitter, still available, and he's a good hitter, and Augie Ojeda, utility type infielder, a switch hitter. Gardenhire's used everybody else among the non-pitchers. One and 2 to Koski. Olerud playing behind the runner at first, LeCroy. Changeup. Did he swing? The appeal. Yeah. Second strikeout of the inning. 1 walk, 1 left. Now Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Gary Sheffield, 3 great sluggers coming up against the outstanding closer, Nathan. Yeah, game 2, the Yankees and the Twins. This one's taken a lot of twists and turns. The Twins jumped ahead early, and the Yankees came roaring back with the long ball. Sheffield's 2-run shot on the 3rd tied it. A-Rod solo in the 5th put them ahead. Then A-Rod drove in a little bit of an insurance run in the 7th inning with a single, only to see the Twins come back against Mariano Rivera, no less. Now the Twins closer, Joe Nathan, comes in. Nathan, who had a 1.62 ERA, 44 saves. Joe, he was tough to hit. 72 in the 3rd innings, only 48 hits allowed. Formerly of the San Francisco Giants, the Twins traded A.J. Przinsky to the Giants to get Nathan, and Nathan in short order became the closer. He grew up in this area. Now the 3 guys coming up here, Jeter, A-Rod, and Sheffield, have had a hand in all 5 of the Yankee runs, starting with Jeter's 1st inning home run. Jeter is 1 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt. His bunt helped set up a run in the 7th. Derek Jeter, and he's been a hero many times in the past in postseason play. Now Borders is going to go out and chat with Nathan before they've ever even thrown a pitch here to Jeter. Joe Nathan, who grew up in this area, is more of a Mets fan than a Yankee fan. He went to the State University of New York in Stony Brook, but he was a shortstop, and he was a tall shortstop, and he idolized Cal Ripken because Cal was a tall shortstop, much like him. The Giants signed him as a shortstop. He had a poor year offensively in the lower minors, and they said, well, maybe you ought to think about becoming a pitcher. And he said, did they ask Cal to be a pitcher? The heck with that. It's 0-1 to Jeter on the breaking ball. He went back to school. He finished his degree. And then he called the Giants back. He said, "Are you still interested in me pitching?" They said, "Absolutely." And he went back to the Giants and eventually made it to the big leagues as a pitcher. And now here he is in Yankee Stadium in the big show. Man, look at that movement on the pitch. And that is a quick strike 2 to Jeter.
Well, he's thrown 2 pitches away from Jeter. They've been pitching him inside the entire ball game. And now all of a sudden they changed that. And he's thrown 2 breaking balls, 2 sliders on the outside corner.
And that one clocked at 90 miles an hour. There is Alex Rodriguez on deck. He's had a big night. 3 hits for the Yankees. 0-2 the count. And there it is again. This time taken by Jeter. As you saw, Matthew LeCroy stays in the game to play first, and Michael Kadire moves back to second base. There's LeCroy at first. And Kadire back over to second. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jeter. That fastball is fouled back and off the facing of the upper deck. Jeter looked like he's a little upset that he got a pitch to hit right there.
Well, that's also the kind of pitch that Jeter will hit over the short right field fence too, because he just laid enough on it. So he's just laid enough on it that it's going to go to right field.
When he'd seen those 3 sliders at 90, and then he got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2. High and tight, and Jeter lurches back out of harm's way.
Well, he had thrown every pitch away, so he tried to go on the inside part of the plate. Got away from him. But again, they had been pitching him inside the whole game, and that's where a lot of the pitchers on the Twins would like to pitch him. But Nathan obviously changed those tactics by going away.
2-2 to Derek Jeter. Had one of his best home run years this year. Back to the slider. Jeter had 23 home runs this year. And we've seen him do it here in 2001. He ended a World Series game with a homer. He did it against the Atlanta Braves in World Series play. He's had so many big hits in so many big games. Joe Nathan knows with these other big sluggers coming up behind him, he cannot afford to walk him either. It was 0-2. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count to Jeter. A-Rod on deck, Sheffield in the hole. Toward right field, but not deep enough this time. Jack Jones, 1 away.
Well, he got that fastball just in enough. He was trying to throw. He pitched him away, and then he got him inside.
Jeter in the first inning hit a booming home run into the black seats in center field. Then Sheffield a shot down the left field line that tied the game. A 2-run homer. Alex Rodriguez into the big part of the ballpark out in Death Valley, just to the left of the 399 marker. That put the Yankees ahead. However, it was not a lead that they were able to hold tonight. 5-5, 10th inning. Here's A-Rod. 0-1. A-Rod has had 5 hits in 8 at-bats in this series. His first postseason experience with the Yankees. Tonight, 2 singles and a homer. He's driven home 2 and scored 2. Sheffield on deck. The great sluggers against the guy who's been a great closer this year. High and tight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the Twins are guarding the line almost, down the third base line. See, they're close, but not, a lot of teams believe you can't let a ball get by you. And they station a guy closer to the line, but that also opens up the holes between the third baseman and the shortstop.
1-1 the count, and he's got him chasing that 91-mile-an-hour slider again. 1-2 the count. When Nathan pitched for the Giants, the closer was Rob Nen, and Nen had a slider that he'd throw at 90, 91, 92 miles an hour that was almost unhittable. 1-2 the count. Fastball back to Nathan. Alex Rodriguez is out number 2. And here comes Sheffield.
Well, you can see why Nathan is so successful as a closer. He's got 2 big weapons, the hard slider, and he has excellent control with the fastball. That'll be a slider away. He swings at it. Fastball up in the end, then a slider away. And then a fastball right on the outside edge. Look at that. And all A-Rod can do is reach for it. Control with the slider and control with the fastball. That is the reason that he is so successful.
Now you see Sheffield's numbers. He's had some success against Nathan. Sheffield remembers him from the National League. But first ball swinging on the fastball. And Guzman throws him out. The Twins bullpen. First Balfour, then Rincon, now Nathan. They have shut the Yankees down. On to the 11th. Twins 5, Yankees 5 as we move to the 11th inning now from the big city, New York. Now, as the Red Sox and Angels are playing out in Anaheim over at ESPN2 tomorrow, it'll be the Astros and Braves. The Braves will need a win before they go to Houston after falling today. 4 o'clock, 1 Pacific on ESPN. Oswalt will go against Hampton in that ball game. Tomorrow night, the Dodgers and Cardinals. Cardinals leading 1-0. Jeff Weaver, Jason Marquis from St. Louis. That game will be televised on Fox starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Jason Kubel, the rookie, to Derek Jeter. One away. Kubel, in his first start, that's the closest he's come to getting the ball out of the infield tonight. Jeter had to step back into the outfield to catch it. Kubel 0 for 5. Now Christian Guzman will come up.
But it appears that even if they do not score, the Twins are going to send Joe Nathan back out there. No one else is throwing. But I think, like Mariano Rivera, you would only use him for 2 innings if the game is not decided within that time frame.
There's ball 1 to Guzman. Guzman is 2 for 4. He bluffed the bunt there. He's an excellent bunter. There's Joe Nathan. Again, Guzman showing bunt. 2-0 the count. Seemed to me he bunted right away in game 1 of the division series last year right here at Yankee Stadium and got something started for the Twins. And Sturts misses. It's 3-0.
Well, Posada's not happy. And you don't see that very often, a catcher get that upset over 1 pitch.
Let's see what K-Zone said.
K-Zone agrees, but I think what Posada's saying is, that ball did get the edge, which it could have, been within 1/16 of an inch or something.
Well, the pitch also looked like it was within that 2-inch range. If the umpire would have been considered correct, even if he had called it a strike. But Guzman gets the walk, a 1-out walk. Second walk allowed by Sturts, and that'll bring up Kadire. Kadire, who has had 2 hits tonight. Kadire 2 for 4 in this game after going 0 for 3 in game 1. So now you've got Guzman at first, who is a threat to run. And out on deck is Pat Borders. That fastball in there for a strike. And the crowd with a sarcastic cheer of the plate umpire Wagner. Imagine that here in the Bronx of all places. 0-1 the count. Guzman back to the bag. Guzman had 10 steals this year. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tanyan Sturts for the Yankees this year was in 28 games. He made 3 starts. He was the guy who was the starting pitcher that day back in July at Fenway Park when they had the brawl. He ended up getting knocked around a little bit in that brawl. That one is through the legs of Posada. And now Guzman does not have to steal second base. He's there. And he took the big turn after getting there.
I'm not exactly sure what happened because it didn't look like that bad of a pitch. And it just went right through the legs of Posada. Let's take a look. No, it wasn't that bad of a pitch. That's probably going to be a pass ball.
It did not bounce. It just went right off the edge of his glove.
And they're calling it a wild pitch. I'm going to put pass ball on mine.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a pass ball. The Yankees tonight have used Flash Gordon and Mariano Rivera. Now Sturtz. They have the lefty Felix Heredia still out there, and Esteban Loaiza and Paul Quantrill. Loaiza was a starting pitcher most of the year and lost his spot in the rotation through ineffectiveness. And Quantrill really was in a slump when the season ended. That's chopped back toward Sturtz. And he throws out Kadire with Guzman taking third. 2 down. And now Borders is going to come up. The Twins have Matthew LeCroy in the game now as their first baseman, and he is also a catcher. So he theoretically could pinch hit for Borders here. He has Augie Ojeda, who's known more for his fielding than his hitting, a switch hitter, and Lou Ford, who's a pretty good hitter, albeit a right-handed hitter. Pat Borders, who was one time a World Series MVP with the Toronto Blue Jays 12 years ago. And then 4 years ago, he won an Olympic gold medal. He was the catcher on the United States Olympic baseball team in the Sydney Olympics. Fastball in there for a strike. And he's got to be one of the oldest catchers ever to play in the big leagues at 41 years old. Now Quantrill, the right-hander, and Heredia, the left-hander, getting ready in the Yankees bullpen. Shannon Stewart on deck. Runner at third, 2 down. Strike 2 on the foul ball. Twins 5, Yankees 5. We're in the 11th inning. Guzman drew a 1-out walk, moved to second on the pass ball, to third on a ground ball. Shannon Stewart would be next. 2 down. Guzman down the line from third. Sturtz to the plate. Look out.
And John, this is one of the reasons that when we talked to Jim Tracy yesterday at the Dodger game, he kept 3 catchers so that if he had to pinch hit, you know, then he would still be able to put a good defensive catcher behind the plate in the extra innings. And that's the reason Borders hitting. You do not want someone like LeCroy behind the plate in an extra inning ball game. You want to keep your defense in there.
And he struck it out with a changeup. Guzman stranded at third. Now Matsui, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada. 3 power hitters coming up, 5-5. Twins 5, Yankees 5. We go to the last of the 11th inning. Yankee fans may well have thought this game was over when Mariano Rivera came on in the 8th inning with 2 men on and 1 man out. But that's not the way it turned out. The Twins got through to Rivera to tie the ball game. It is still tied. Joe Nathan, the Minnesota closer, into his 2nd inning of work. The powerful Matsui, Godzilla, the former Tokyo Giants slugger. And he hit 31 home runs slugging for the Yankees here in the Bronx this year. Matsui, 2 hits in 3 at-bats against Nathan. Bernie Williams on deck. High fly ball. Shallow left center. And look out. There's Torrey Hunter in the midst of all the chaos, very calmly making the grab. 1 down. When Rivera came on, he came on to face Justin Morneau. But the whole thing started with Flash Gordon on the mound, who struck out Jock Jones, but Jones reached. Then when Rivera came on with 2 men on, Morneau hit the bloop into shallow right. That brought 1 run home, and then Corey Koski in a protracted at bat hit an automatic double into the left field corner, and that got the tying run home. Torrey Hunter. Actually, Rivera did an excellent job keeping the damage just at that. They had 2nd and 3rd 1 out as Bernie Williams takes a strike caught on the inside. Meanwhile, the Minnesota bullpen, starting with Balfour in the 7th inning, who inherited a runner with 1 out. The Twins bullpen has pitched 4 perfect innings. It has not allowed so much as a single base runner. Nathan, a little bit low with that fastball at 96 miles an hour. Bernie, all the way around, probably had his worst year this year for the Yankees. You see the Twins bullpen of Balfour, Rincon, and Nathan. They've been superb. But Bernie's had a lot of big hits to win ball games in the postseason for the Yankees.
And the one thing you see with Joe Nathan, with these left-handed hitters especially, is his fastball is tailing away a little bit. That's how he got Matsui out, with a fastball tailing away, and Matsui trying to pull it. And he's trying to make sure that they don't take advantage of that short porch in right field.
You got Matsui and the shallow fly ball to the center fielder to start this inning. 1 out, nobody on. 2-1. And again, it runs away from Bernie. Ball 3. Posada, who's got a lot of pop, on deck. Nathan this year, in 72 1/3 innings, only allowed 3 home runs. Three and 1. And it's a walk. And the Yankees get their first base runner since Alex Rodriguez was on first base in the 7th inning. We're in the 11th.
And the one thing you have to be careful with if you're Gardenhire is that Joe Nathan doesn't get into a high pitch count inning here.
Well, Nathan appeared in 73 games and pitched 72 1/3 innings. So he was pretty much just the 1 inning at a time guy. He has thrown 19 pitches in this game. Jorge Posada, as Nathan will now have to deal with a runner being on base. Posada is 0 for 4 in the game. Back out of play. Posada has popped to second, popped to third, popped to shallow right, and struck out. Posada 0 for 4 in this game, 2 for 8 in the series. He had a couple of singles last night. Bernie Williams, the runner at first. Bernie at one time had a lot of speed, but this year he's only stolen 1 base all year and was thrown out trying to steal 5 times. 1 strike to count. There goes. No, Bernie stopped. He started, took 2 or 3 quick steps, and then stopped. Strike 2 to Posada.
And I think Posada took that pitch thinking that he was running. Well, I don't know if that was just a bluff or he got out there and didn't think he had enough of a jump on the pitcher.
0-2 now to Posada. He's in a hole. Ruben Sierra on deck. 1 out. Very high. 1-2. There's Sierra on deck. Bernie Williams leads away from first. Lee Croy on the bag with him. And a foul into the seats just behind the Minnesota dugout. And a guy wearing a Bernie Williams jersey looking in, but he does not get himself a souvenir. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Back on the 2nd of October, right in the final weekend of the season, Nathan pitched 2 innings in a game. That equaled his high for the season.
Well, he's trying to finish off his 2nd inning here. But again, he has thrown a lot of pitches.
A ball and 2 strikes to Posada. Middle infield double play deck. And pop foul into the upper deck. Well, these kind of at-bats were very typical of the Yankees for most of this run. 1996, 98, 99. They had a lot of guys who would make pitchers throw a lot of pitches, just like Posada's doing right now.
And so far in this at-bat, he's had a very good approach. He has not tried to pull the fastball away. He's tried to go the other way. He's fouled them back.
Posada, by the way, had 88 walks this year. He had a 400 on-base percentage, even though his batting average was 272. And Bernie back to the bag at first. Bernie Williams, the possible winning run. He's at first base. Joe Nathan, 44 saves this year and 47 chances. Selected to the American League All-Star team. Trying to move this game to the 12th inning. 5-5. 1 out, 1 on. They'll try it again with Posada. 2-2. And all the while that pitch count is rising.
Yes. And I think that's what Gardenhire is trying to question there. How many pitches? But he doesn't have anyone warming up. So this inning looks like it's Joe Nathan's all the way. And there you see 25 total pitches. And if I remember correctly, that's around the number that Mariano Rivera threw. And both pitched yesterday. Nathan pitched an inning yesterday, as did Rivera.
Nathan got the save here in game 1. He threw 10 pitches to retire the Yankees in the 9th inning last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 7th pitch of this battle, and Bernie is running, but it's fouled by Posada. And Bernie will go back to first. Joe Nathan, who had surgery on his right shoulder 4 years ago, and then began a tortured climb, a rehabilitation, and making his way back to the minor league system. He really had to learn how to pitch all over again. And he came back initially as a guy who used to throw 97 and was throwing 82. And he got lit up many a time in the minor leagues as he made his way back from that injury. And he strikes out Posada with that great slider, that hard slider. But Posada really made him work to do it. It was an 8-pitch battle.
And just an excellent pitch there by Nathan. He'd thrown him about 5 fastballs away, so he throws him something diving down and in. And Posada swings over the top of it.
2 down. Bernie Williams still at first. And here is Ruben Sierra. Nobody throwing in the Yankee bullpen, so if we go to the 12th, apparently Tanyan Sturtz will be pitching it. Ruben Sierra has grounded to second twice, walked, and been caught out on strikes. He is 0 for 3. On the outside corner with a fastball. Strike 1. Sierra has only faced Nathan a couple of times. He's 0 for 2 against him. The outfield is very deep for the Twins and shaded toward left. Stewart in left, Torrey Hunter in center, Jock Jones in right. All 3 of those guys cover a lot of ground out there. Bernie Williams, the runner at first. 1 ball, 1 strike now.
And he just shortened his stride there. I think he was just going to throw a fastball away, see if they could catch Bernie running there, because that wasn't his normal leg kick. He was just trying to rush that one to the plate outside.
A ball and a strike. John Olerud would be next. Bernie Williams at first, ready to go on anything. There's a backdoor slider. Came in over the corner. Strike 2.
And he went back to his big leg kick and he threw a strike. He has 2 very good weapons. I mean, he has an excellent fastball and a great breaking ball. He doesn't seem to change speed too much, meaning the changeup. He just uses those 2 pitches.
Ruben Sierra, 17 home runs during the season, only 307 at bats. Up and away, 2-2, and you wonder if fatigue is starting to settle in on Nathan a little bit, because I mean, number one, he's been in a lot of games this year, but number 2, he rarely has been called on to throw as many pitches as he's thrown tonight. He's thrown 31 pitches now in this one, and all under duress against the Yankees' best hitters in these 2 innings. He struck him out, and we move on to the 12th inning. That's 4 2/3 no-hit innings by the Minnesota bullpen. Shannon Stewart, Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter. Coming up, it's 5-5.
Second.
All right, that game is over on ESPN2 right now. And when this game is over, the Red Sox-Angels game will be moved right over here onto ESPN. Meanwhile, no end in sight here at Yankee Stadium. Top of the 12th inning. Tanyan Sturtz facing Shannon Stewart. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stewart has been kept off the bases. He is 0 for 5. By the way, Joe, they changed their mind, and Jorge Posada was called for a pass ball on that ball that got through him in the 11th inning.
I know. I already had mine in. I told you I was putting
you don't even
ball
have
down.
to. You don't even
have to change. No.
Get out your whiteout or anything.
No, it was a pass ball. I knew that.
2-1 the count to Shannon Stewart. And a pop foul back out of play. The Minnesota bullpen is busy. There is Crane, the right-hander, warming up for the Twins. Jesse Crane. Shannon Stewart leading it off. A lot of people thought he was the MVP of the American League last year when he got to the Twins and helped them turn their season around. Although Alex Rodriguez won the award, Shannon Stewart gave the Twins a great jolt of adrenaline to that offense. This year he spent a couple of months on the disabled list. Ooh, high and tight. Did that hit him?
No.
Or did it glance off the bat?
Foul ball.
Foul ball. 3-2. Umpire started making all kinds of gestures, which none of them were foul ball.
Well, I think he said stay here. Watch, he'll point down with his left hand. See, he puts his hand up, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and he pointed down, meaning stay here.
I'm gonna have to get an updated book of umpires' gestures. Strike 3. Tanyan Sturtz gets his 4th strikeout in 2 1/3 innings. Shannon Stewart 0 for 6 in this game. 2 for 10 in the series now. And here's Jacques Jones, who has singled, grounded out, and struck out 3 times. However, on one of those strikeouts, he reached base, and that started a 2-run rally in the 8th inning that tied the game. Fastball up and away from Tanyan Sturtz. You know, Tanyan Sturtz is an amazing story. He was a guy that seemed like nobody wanted. He had not had any success to speak of in the past. And now here he is. And Joe Torre has a lot of confidence in him coming out of that bullpen.
Well, he's definitely showed a lot of confidence tonight because he has not basically had anybody else warming up since he has come into the ball game.
Sturtz used to be a starting pitcher as Jock Jones bounces a foul. But he never had a whole lot of success as a starting pitcher. Sturtz has thrown 45 pitches in this ball game. 2-1 the count. And that sinks down and away. A lot of movement on that pitch.
And a lot of more patience in this at bat from Jock Jones than he's shown the entire ball game.
That ball is a high pop fly into shallow right. Cairo in front of Sheffield. And that is out number 2. Well, he gave it the big rip on a 3-1 count, but merely hit a pop fly. 2 down.
Well, I think he did the right thing. He got him into a 3-1 count. He took a shot at pulling the ball. I don't ever say that guys go up there really trying to hit a home run all the time, but what you do is you give yourself a chance to get an extra base hit by trying to pull it. You may find a gap in right center field.
Now Torrey Hunter, and that's in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Tanyan Sturtz actually was in the Dodgers organization when this season began, and the Yankees acquired him on June 15th from LA for a player to be named later. He had been a starting pitcher in the minor leagues for the Dodgers. That ball is hit high. Left field, deep. Matsui back, and the Twins are back ahead. Torrey Hunter with a soaring, majestic home run. That ball exploded off his bat, and it is 6-5 Minnesota.
Well, a high fastball, and Torrey Hunter is one of the better high fastball hitters in the league.
The first home run of the game for the Twins on a night when the Yankees have hit 3.
You see the target is down, but it's a high fastball right on the middle end, from the middle end.
There's a strike to Matthew LeCroy.
Watch the pitch, high fastball, and he knows right away where it's going to end up. Kind of flips the bat.
LeCroy, that's a sharply hit base hit to left field. So the Yankees now will have to play catch up. Now, if you're Ron Gardner, what do? Your closer has already worked 2 hard innings.
Well, he does. I don't see anyone warming up. I know Crane was throwing last inning.
Now Mel Stottlemyre, after calling the bullpen, comes up out of the dugout, and he's going to go visit with Tanyan Sturtz as Corey Koski will get ready to bat here. And Paul Quantrill, the right-hander, and Felix Heredia, the left-hander, will get up in the bullpen. Torrey Hunter, he knew this one was gone. Well back over the wall. And that got them excited in the Twins dugout.
And Gardenhire said he didn't get up last night to look at the one Sierra hit, but he definitely got up to watch the one that Torrey Hunter hits.
Torrey Hunter had 1 home run against the Yankees in the postseason last year in the division series. His 2nd postseason home run. Quantrill and Heredia getting ready in a hurry in the bullpen. 6-5, the Twins are ahead. The Yankees hitters due up in the last of the 12 will be John Olerud, Miguel Cairo, and Derek Jeter. Ruled to swing. Jerry Crawford, the third base umpire. And it's 0-1 to Koski, who has walked and scored a run, grounded out, struck out, and then he hit the double down the left field line against Mariano Rivera that tied this game. He also struck out in the 10th inning. So he is 1 for 4, but he's been an important hitter tonight for the Twins. A ball and a strike. LeCroy, the runner at first. Torrey Hunter's home run, putting the Twins ahead. But again, nobody warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it appears that they're going to leave Nathan in.
Nathan, of course, when he first came up, was a starting pitcher with the Giants and in the minor leagues. But that's not what he's been doing this year. He has not gone 3 innings of the game all year. 2-1 the count now to Koski. But with nobody warming up out there, Joe, I mean, it seems like Nathan must be going to stay in. And K-Zone agrees with Mark Wegner that it was off the outside. Nathan has thrown 32 pitches in the 2 innings that he's worked, although he struck out the last 2 guys he faced in the 11th. Down on the way. 3-1 the count.
Well, the Yankee fans were all happy and excited, you know, going into the 8th inning. And now they're a little despondent.
That last guy with the big gloves on, I thought I saw him in the World Series of Poker on ESPN a while back. Now Koski gets the walk, and that will move LeCroy to second base. 3rd walk allowed by Sturtz. So he's closing in on 50 pitches thrown.
Well,
Sturtz used to be a starter as well.
Well, you cannot give up another run with, you know, Nathan on the mound. So I'm a little shocked that if they're going to let Sturtz. I don't think they are. I was going to say, if you're going to let Sturtz pitch to Kubel here, because if you fall 1 more run behind, it's, you know, it's going to be difficult already to do something against Joe Nathan. But if he has a 2-run lead, it's going to be very difficult.
Heredia, the lefty.
Well,
Quantrill, the right-hander. Now it looks like they're stalling for time here.
Yeah.
I saw A-Rod come over. Now Posada's going out.
And
Torrey
next,
may be asking, says, aren't they ready yet?
And next you'll see Joe Torre go out, because I'm sure that you're going to have Heredia come in to pinch hit. I mean, to pitch to Kubel. But by the same token, Gardenhire has Lou Ford over there as well, a right-handed hitter sitting over there on the
And he's
bench.
one of his better hitters.
Yeah.
Lou Ford
But Joe is calling for the right-hander, I think. Yeah.
So he may want to get the fatigue that starts out of the game, but may want to keep the rookie Kubel in the game.
Right.
And it is Quantrill, the right-hander, who is coming in with 2 men on and 2 men out here in the 12th inning.
And then they give Sturts a nice hand, and I think that's deservedly so.
Torrey Hunter with a long home run. The Twins are leading 6-5 in the 12th. We'll be back.
The second.
All right, and that game is over on ESPN2 right now. When this game is over, whenever that is, that game will be moved here to ESPN. Meanwhile, Paul Quantrill, veteran right-hander, who really struggled down the stretch and really lost his spot as one of the setup men in front of Mariano Rivera. And he's on here with 2 men on and 2 men out. A 1-ball, 1-strike count facing the rookie, the left-handed batting Jason Kubel. There is Matthew LeCroy at second. Corey Koski, who just walked, over at first. 6-5. The Twins are leading. Inning number 12. Toward the middle. Cairo to Jeter for the force out on Koski, and that gets it done. So now the Yankees need at least a run to stay alive. Olerud, Cairo, and Jeter are due up. And Nathan is coming back out for a third. We're in New York, and the Yankees try to stay alive here in game 2, and they would be in the daunting position of having to go to the Metrodome and sweep the Twins there just to get back here for a 5th game if they are unable to come back here in the 12th inning. But the plot thickens because Joe Nathan, who has already thrown 2 tough innings, he's thrown 32 pitches here at the end of a long season. He threw an inning last night. The most innings he's ever pitched as a relief pitcher in his young career is 2 2/3. The Twins want him to pitch a 3rd inning here and hold this lead. As a starting pitcher, he often threw 7, 8 innings in games. But this year, he's been more often than not 1 inning at a time.
Well, I think if you're Gardenhire, you say to yourself, I can use him right here. If I can go up 2-0, I don't need to use him on Friday.
Give him a couple of days off.
And I think that's what he's doing.
Right on the outside corner, it's quickly 0-2 to John Olerud, who is 1 for 4 in the game. And now Gardenhire pacing down there. I mean, he would, I'm sure, prefer not to use Nathan right here, but he's going for it. You have a chance to go for the jugular right here against the Yankees. And that is, and you mentioned it, Joe. He's proven you right. At the head of the telecast, you said, although it was a huge game for the Yankees for obvious reasons, you thought it was just as huge for the Twins to keep their foot on the neck of the Yankees, because it'd be tough to do anything other than split at the Metrodome.
Correct. So I think that, you know, he understood that too. Again, I think they're ready to compete with the Yankees, meaning all the players, Gardenhire, they know what they have to do. And you could see it on the faces of the Twins and the Yankee players and the fans around the 8th inning. You could see that they knew these Twins were here to compete. They feel like they can compete with the Yankees.
Miguel Cairo is on deck. Derek Jeter due up 3rd in the inning. Alex Rodriguez would be due 4th. Gary Sheffield 5th. Did he swing? Strike 3. Jerry Crawford makes the unpopular call here in the Bronx, and that is the 3rd consecutive strikeout for Nathan. Well, the more pitches he's been throwing, the more guys he's been striking out.
Well, from that angle, you can't tell. We'll get a look at this angle. This would be what Crawford saw. Very close. And you can't. The check swing is always one of the most difficult plays to call.
1 down. Here's Miguel Cairo. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. He scored the Yankees' 5th run that gave them a 5-3 lead, and it is 0-1. The Yankees have some lefties to whom they could go. They've got Kenny Lofton, Bubba Crosby, and switch hitters Tony Clark and Enrique Wilson. But Torrey right now, he likes Miguel Cairo, who hit .292 for the Yankees this year. Game 3 at the Metrodome, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central on Friday. That'll be Kevin Brown for the Yankees and Carlos Silva, a 14-game winner for the Twins. No swing there. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Derek Jeter on deck.
John, the last base hit the Yankees had was A-Rod's 7th inning single.
Well, the Twins bullpen has no-hit them for 5 innings since then. That was when Radke was removed from the game after that single by A-Rod. The hard slider in the dirt. Now it is 3-1. That last pitch, by the way, made it 2-1. Now it is 3-1.
Well, the Gardenhire knows that, look, this is a very key situation in this entire series, not just in tonight's ball game, with him leaving Nathan out there for the 3rd inning.
Good point. The key for them maybe winning this whole series is right here. Nathan's ability to get through this inning. And he walks Cairo. The Twins bullpen, meanwhile, has been quiet all the while. But now the possible tying run is on base. And here comes Jeter with Alex Rodriguez right behind him. And now Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, is going to go out to visit with Nathan, who is now at 42 pitches for the game.
Well, I would think that, you know, if you're Gardenhire, you don't want to go this far with Nathan and not get the win, so you may have to get someone up.
The Yankees have come back more than any other team in baseball this year to win games. In fact, more than any other team in the history of the game. 15 of their comebacks this year came in the 7th inning or later.
And a lot of that had to do with the fact that they do have a lot of power, and they were able to come back a lot of times on one swing of the bat.
One of the turning points of their season occurred early on. They had a losing record. They were facing Oakland in this ballpark and were trailing 8-4 in the 8th inning. And they scored 5 or 6 runs in the 8th and won that game. And their whole season has been on the rise ever since. So here's Jeter. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, you have to also remember 2 things, John. This is also the 2nd time that Jeter, A-Rod, and those guys have seen Nathan. The first, you normally only see a closer 1 at bat during a game. This is their 2nd time going through the line, you know, getting a chance to see him. And you see Jeter did not chase that slider that he chased the first time through.
Jeter has 1 home run tonight. He's had 1 hit, 4 at bats. Tries the slider, hangs it high. And the Twins bullpen is now getting ready.
Yeah.
The left-hander, J.C. Romero.
See, I think you have to do this. I don't think you can, again, risk using Nathan this long and not close this game out.
But those last 2 pitches especially, and for that matter, the last one to Cairo, that had to send off some alarm bells.
Well, the alarm goes off because he's throwing a lot of sliders as well. That tells you he doesn't have the same confidence in his fastball that he had, you know, when he came in the game earlier. And that's natural because he is a little tired now.
2 1/3 innings for Nathan. Last year when he was with the Giants, he had a 2 2/3 inning game in the middle of the season. That's the longest he's ever pitched as a reliever. 3-0. So now he's on the verge of moving the possible tying run into scoring position as Jesse Crane now replaces the left-hander Romero in the bullpen.
Well, I think you're in a situation now, if you're Joe Torre, obviously he's going to take 3-0, but I think you either have to make him take 3-1 or send the runner.
And that is the 8th consecutive pitch out of the strike zone from Nathan. He got a first pitch strike to Cairo, and he has not thrown a strike since. Consecutive walks with 1 out. And now Alex Rodriguez, who's had 3 hits tonight, including a home run and 2 runs batted in. Alex Rodriguez coming up. And he no longer needs the home run, doesn't even need an extra base hit now to keep the Yankees alive in this one.
But the other thing is Joe Nathan saying, I just need to make 1 good pitch, get the ground ball, and I can get out of this.
A double play would end the game. The crowd now rising to the aid of Alex Rodriguez, as if through the sheer force of their will
And
to
Rodriguez
win this one for the Yankees.
has showed a lot of patience early in the game. Let's see if he can continue.
1 ball, no strikes. That's 9 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone from Nathan. Cairo, the possible tying run at second. Jeter, the possible winning run at first.
And it's a tough situation for A-Rod, John, because he's thrown 9 straight balls. And you know if you swing at one and hit the ground ball, you're out of it. But you know if you get a good pitch to hit, you should be swinging.
Got the corner on that one.
I think that was a smart move there by A-Rod to go ahead and take that pitch. Guy had thrown 9 straight balls, and he throws 1 strike. You hit a ground ball, and you're out of the. Then the ball game's over. I think you have to do that. Now you're ready. You just say, pick out a pitch and let it go.
Nathan, the native New Yorker, in the big ballpark in the Bronx. Under pressure. Left center. Hit well. Way back there. This ball is over the wall on a bounce. And that saves the Twins.
Yeah.
Instead of the winning run scoring, Jeter will have to go back to third. When it bounced over, it cost the Yankees just as it cost the Twins when Koski's ball bounced over in the 8th inning, on which a run would have scored.
And a great job there by Alex Rodriguez. That was team baseball. He did not swing at the first strike he saw after the guy had thrown 9 straight pitch balls. He waits, he gets a hanging slider, and he rips it up the gap. And you're right, the Yankees are robbed of the game-winning double there by Alex Rodriguez because the ball bounces over the wall. It's a slider down, and he goes out and gets it. I mean, that I thought it was a hanging slider. It really wasn't. But look at the swing by Alex. He knows, he thinks the game is over.
Well, in any other ballpark, it would have been over, but it's 399 to that part of this ballpark, and they're walking Jeter intentionally. Now you're in a spot where Sheffield intentionally. Jeter is the runner at third, but they're walking Sheffield intentionally to set up the force out at the plate, the infield, and the outfield. They'll all have to come in now. And they're going to go after Matsui.
Well, I think they're going to bring in Romero to pitch to Matsui. I don't think you can leave Nathan out there now.
Romero, the left-hander, is once again up in the bullpen, replacing Crane, who had gotten up for a little while. And here comes Gardenhire. It is 6-6 in the last of the 12th inning. A bitter disappointment, I'm sure, for the native New Yorker, Joe Nathan. He just didn't have enough steam to finish this one out in the 3rd inning.
Well, A-Rod did the job. This is the A-Rod that they thought they were getting the entire season. He has performed like a champion tonight. Slider hit up the gap. When that ball was in the air, I thought the ball game was over. Not thinking it would go out of the ballpark, but wherever it bounced, Jeter would have been able to score.
So the Yankees did not win it right there, but they have the bases loaded with 1 out, and we'll be right back. There's Joe Nathan in the dugout. 53 pitches thrown, maybe 12 too many as it turned out.
Yeah, he had 44, I guess, whatever it didn't hear. So whatever. Look, I understand what Gardenhire did. He took the chance. Because again, you wanted to go home 2-0. He took that chance. It hasn't worked out so far.
So now Matsui will come to the plate against Romero. Romero, who was outstanding in 2002, not nearly as good last year, and then this year, in and out. The infield has to come in. The outfield has to come in.
They're not coming in, John. They're going to play for a double play. I mean, they're playing the middle infielders right here. They're still back for a double play, and I don't quite understand this. The outfield is coming in.
They're in shallow all the way around. Here's Matsui. 1 for 4 with a walk tonight. Right field, right to Jock Jones. Here comes Jeter. The throw, cut off. The relay. Safe. The Yankees win. Yankees have tied the series on the sacrifice fly by Matsui, and Derek Jeter just kept on coming.
But, John, I don't want to leave this without explaining what happened there. This was a great base running play by Derek Jeter. He was not so far down the line that he couldn't get back and tag up on that line drive and take off immediately. You see a lot of players get too far down the line. Now they're running back, tagging up, and on a short line drive like that have been close. See how close he is? Watch this. Now he gets back in time. Look, he gets back. As soon as that ball is caught, he's ready to go. You see often a lot of guys going back to tag up, and they're back too late. And again, we've talked about Jeter, but he knows how to win ball games. He knows how to play this game. I mean, this is the line drive, and you wonder, is he going to catch it or not? No, he doesn't care. He goes back and does his job. You can't do the job of the outfielder. Your job as a base runner is to make sure that you're ready to go, and he got himself in a perfect position to do so.
And Joe Nathan's reaction from the dugout. And he left his guts out on the diamond here at Yankee Stadium tonight. But it is the Yankees who are doing the celebrating. The jaded veterans of the Yankees who are celebrating like rookies out there as they come from behind against the young Minnesota Twins to even up this series as they head to Minneapolis.